or it was a business gone wrong. But I mean, we're also saying that from what we hear, as in the Ghana position, it's as a result of the xenophobic attack. So we'll delve into all that matters here on the show, plus a lot of issues making rounds in this beautiful country of ours. Of course, we will, take a look a bit at the Black Stars and the strategy we could deploy coming up against Colombia in a round of 32 game coming up, on Saturday in the United States of America. Well, my name is Samuel Kojo Brace. It's a holiday edition of the show. On behalf of my production team, I say thank you and for joining us here. Stay with us from now to 10. Let's spend the holiday morning together. We'll bring you the AM news right away. Well, let's do the AM news now. And President John Dramani Mahama has sworn in Ghana's first female Auditor General, Dr. Pamela Graham. At the swearing-in ceremony at the Jubilee House, the President urged all public institutions to cooperate fully with the new Auditor General and ensure the timely implementation of audit recommendations, stressing that effective audits are essential to strengthening accountability and good governance. The new Auditor General comes into office with 25 years of professional experience in the private sector and replaces Johnson Akufo-Addo, who is retiring from the position.
Let me also take the opportunity on behalf of the government and people of Ghana to express our sincere appreciation to the outgoing Auditor General whose tenure comes to an end today, and I just acknowledged him. Thank you very much. We thank him for his dedicated service to our country and for his contribution to strengthening the institutions of public accountability. We wish him continued good health and every success in the years ahead and in any future endeavors. Every ministry, department, agency, metropolitan, municipal, and district assembly, state-owned enterprises, and public officials must recognize that accountability is not optional, it is a constitutional obligation. The Auditor General therefore occupies a central place in our national development agenda. By identifying weaknesses in financial management systems, promoting compliance with the law, and recommending corrective actions, the office directly contributes to improving public service delivery and protecting the taxpayers' money. My government will continue to support the strengthening of the audit service through investment in modern audit technologies, digital systems, capacity building, and institutional reforms that enable the service to discharge its constitutional mandate effectively. At the same time, all public institutions must cooperate fully with our Auditor General and ensure the timely implementation of audit recommendations. Audit reports should never be viewed merely as statutory documents to be laid before Parliament. They should serve as a practical management tool to improve governance, strengthen internal controls, eliminate waste, and enhance the efficiency of public administration. And so, Dr. Graham, as you take the oath of office today, remember that the authority vested in you by the Constitution carries with it an equally profound responsibility. You inherit an institution whose credibility has been built over decades through professionalism and constitutional fidelity. Your duty is to preserve, strengthen, and modernize that legacy. And so I urge you to live with independence, fairness, with courage, with wisdom, and humility.
Now, the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection is urging all metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives to prioritize support for the most vulnerable people affected by the recent floods. According to the Sector Minister, Dr. Agnes Na Momo Latte, children, older persons and persons with disabilities require urgent attention as government intensifies efforts to assist victims and restore normalcy. Ramat Bashiru has more in this report.
All my things are gone.
For many school children, floodwaters swept away books, school uniforms, bags, and other learning materials, raising concerns about their ability to return to the classroom. The Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Namomolati, says the ministry is working closely with National Disaster Management Organization, Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies, and other stakeholders to ensure that vulnerable groups are not left behind.
The Ministry of Gender also had instructions from His Excellency, and per our mandate, we are to make sure that all the districts focus on the most vulnerable first. So you are looking at giving support and relief to the most vulnerable, beginning with children, persons with disabilities, pregnant women, the aged, all those who are one way or the other unable to, go with the speed of every other person. And so you look at these people, attend to them first. And the whole intention is to minimize the impact so that they don't become more vulnerable. We've had situations where families in the course of being evacuated had placed persons with disabilities on chairs. And then by the time they turned, the people had vanished. But these are people who are supposed to be evacuated first. So in doing the relief distribution, please attend to these most vulnerable people first and then the others as well. So,
according to her, government is mobilizing additional support to complement ongoing relief interventions while assessment continue to determine the full extent of destruction and the needs of affected households.
We are also taking note of vulnerable individuals that will need extra support aside the immediate one that we are giving them. So you have the Livelihood Empowerment Against Poverty program that will support most of the households that have been affected by this. So we have the emergency plan to also keep them going until they can, be able to support themselves.
The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection is calling on all metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies to work closely with disaster response agencies to ensure relief reaches those most in need without delay. For Joy News, Ramat Bashir, Accra.
Now, eye health experts have expressed concern over the rising prevalence of myopia among adolescents, warning that the condition is becoming a growing public health challenge, with an estimated 1 in every 3 young people affected. Speaking during the second White Coat Ceremony and Refractive Error Week Symposium at the University of Cape Coast, optometrists attributed the increasing trend to environmental factors such as prolonged academic activities and limited outdoor exposure. They therefore called for healthier childhood lifestyles and sustained public education on eye health and preventive care to help curb the condition.
The second White Coat Ceremony of the School of Optometry and Vision Science at the University of Cape Coast saw the induction of 73 fourth-year optometry students into clinical practice. Speaking at the event, the Secretary of the Ghana Optometric Association, Dr. Yawosei Akoto, explained the significance of the theme and the observance of Refractive Error Week.
The theme for this whole celebration is Eyes on the Future, Refractive Error Correction Today, Success Tomorrow. We've seen that as a country, we have a lot of people who have refractive errors that have not been corrected. And these refractive errors are impacting their lives, especially school children. They find it difficult to learn because once they are unable to see at far, they wouldn't be able to see what the teacher is writing on the board. And then some group of these children too, when they are reading, they experience headaches here and there, tearing, which means they have refractive errors that need correction. So once these refractive errors are corrected, we believe that their lives will be improved upon. That is why, as an association, we are prioritizing refractive error, hence the celebration of Refractive Error Week in Ghana, so as to create awareness throughout the nation.
Guest speaker and optometrist Lieutenant Commander Dr. Prince Opunikwaku urged the newly robed students to uphold professionalism by respecting patients' autonomy.
One of the most important qualities you must develop during your clinical training is respect for patients' autonomy. Patients have a right to understand their condition. They have a right to ask questions. They have a right to make decisions regarding their care. Your responsibility is not simply to tell patients what to do. Your responsibility is to educate, guide, empower them to make informed decisions. Equally important is confidentiality.
Keynote speaker and professor of optometry at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Emmanuel Akufo-Addo, stressed the need for sustained public education on eye health and preventive care.
We have to consciously, expose children to external outdoor activities every day. Because after schooling, the children have to be in school. We can't avoid that. So we have to do that. So we need education. We need to educate teachers, parents that outdoor activity is very important if we have to deal with myopia, development and progression.
The ceremony concluded with a presentation of clinical equipment to the School of Optometry and Vision Science by Dr. Abraham Gaitu, fulfilling a pledge he made during the Maiden White Coat ceremony. From Cape Coast, Abigail Lisel-Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Now, the Fisheries Commission has intensified efforts to combat illegal fishing by warning fishers to comply with existing fisheries regulations or face strict sanctions under the new Fisheries and Aquaculture Act. Speaking while promoting responsible fishing through the Small Scale Fisheries Academy, the Executive Director of the Fisheries Commission, Benjamin Campion, stressed that the new legislation passed last year will be rigorously enforced to protect the country's marine resources and ensure the long-term sustainability of the fisheries sector.
The 4-day training, dubbed the Small Scale Fisheries Academy, was implemented by Mondus Maris in collaboration with the Canoe and Fishing Gear Owners Association of Ghana through the support of Blue Ventures Conservation. Partnership Manager at Blue Ventures Conservation, Nana Kojo, said the program seeks to institutionalize community-based co-management structures to discuss community-level issues.
The overall goal is to institutionalize local co-management structures of fishers or fishers' own local co-management structures, where on monthly basis, actors at the community level, chief fishermen, canoe owners, fish processors, other fish workers, on monthly basis meet to dialogue on issues that affect them and come up with solutions and implement those solutions to address the challenges that they have at the community level.
Some participants noted that the training has deepened their understanding of responsible fishing methods.
This illegal way of fishing is concerned, and this training has taken us through all aspects of it, from how we should keep our beaches clean, how we should educate our people.
Co-management, that's what I learned today. And he gave me a vim. There are certain things I don't know that is how I'm supposed to do it. Today, I learned how to do it. I learned how to use it. As a fish processor, I learned a lot.
But now the issue now is about we understanding that as we are using an illegal means, we are destroying our own businesses.
The Executive Director of the Fisheries Commission, Benjamin Campion, cautioned fishers against engaging in illegal, unreported and unregulated fishing, stressing strict enforcement of new regulations.
When the fish is landed, we expect it to be of the right quality. If you are processing, process the fish using the recommended processing technologies. If you are freezing it, we have to ensure that the cold chain is maintained, so that at least the consumer gets good fish. These are things, simple things that are captured in law and in regulation, and we'll ensure that it is done so that we all have good fish, healthy fish to eat.
From Winneba, Abigail Lisel-Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Well, there's dignity in planning ahead and in what that story has a face. The Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, celebrated its oldest female pensioner, 100-year-old Ma Zenebu Dagomba, with a special visit to her home in Wa Kabanye. Instead of a hotel hall, a high-level delegation from SNIT and the National Pensioners Association came to her compound. The gesture, SNIT says, was to recognize a woman whose decades of contributions are now a living example that saving today is dignity tomorrow. Speaking to Joy News' Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam, Ma Zenebu says she was grateful for the recognition and the honor done to her at home. But her appeal was simple: help me get a home.
Cake, claps, a century of life. In Wakabanye, Ghana's oldest female pensioner just turned 100, and the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, SNIT, came to her doorstep. Her name is Mma Zenebu Dagomba, a cook at Wa Municipal Hospital before she retired in 1992. 33 years on the SNIT payroll. No corporate hall, no big speech. Just her home, her children, grandchildren, and a cake. SNIT brought her a loaded hamper.
More than 3 decades ago, you formally retired from SNIT, but your relationship with SNIT remains strong and enduring. Your life is a powerful example that a secure and dignified retirement is a reality which is built on consistency in contribution.
The National Pensioners Association brought cloth. They call it respect. She called it blessing. But behind the smiles, she has one request. Mma Dagomba still stays in 2 rented rooms with her grandchildren, who she will want SNIT to give her befitting accommodation.
I told them that I am staying in 2 rented rooms, one for myself and the other for my grandchildren. So I am appealing to SNIT to help me with a befitting accommodation.
She says without SNIT, she wouldn't be standing today. SNIT says this visit is more than birthday. They are coming for the informal sector too. Traders, farmers, the self-employed, and they are bringing healthcare to your phone.
That value has been created for you, that you can go out there and do your shopping with some excitement. When you are not well, you can just take a phone and call a doctor, and the doctor will deal with you. Now, these are the type of things that we are doing in SNIT, and we are very sure that with the support of the stakeholders, especially the pensioners, especially the contributors, we will change the face of SNIT, we will change the value of SNIT, we will make SNIT more exciting.
The MPA says 100 years is God's grace. Her family says they pray to live as long and as well. From Wa Municipal Hospital kitchen to 100 years of dignity. One woman, 100 years. One message to Ghana. Plan now, live later. Reporting for Kojo News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
Let's do some business updates now. And CEO of Dalex Finance, Joe Jackson, has welcomed the Finance Ministry's release of 350 million cedis to NADMO to support victims of Monday's flood disaster, but says cash transfers alone will not end Accra's recurring flood crisis. Speaking on Business Live, Mr. Jackson argued that Ghana spent too much on recovery and too little on prevention, leaving a city trapped in a yearly cycle.
these are some of the worst floods we've ever experienced in the greater Accra and other regions. And so it does make sense that this 350 million is not a small amount. It is a good start. But guess what? I'm not that excited.
Why?
And I'm not excited because the key, in spite of the relief it will bring, is for us to ask, are we going to spend 350 million every year? Are we going to spend 350 million next year and the following year and the following year? Are we going to spend 350 million every time there's a flood? You see, the key thing that should get us excited is that this flood, which is a toxic mix of man-made events, indiscipline, and extreme partisanship of our political system, should be addressed. It's man-made because we throw rubbish into our waterways. It's man-made because we are indisciplined and we build where we shouldn't build, legal or illegal. And that toxic mix is added to the extreme partisanship that says that even if your building is illegal, I won't take it down because the other side of the divide will come and say, if I win, I will let you be.
Gold, the commodity that has underpinned Ghana's economic recovery in recent years, is losing momentum on the international market. The precious metal is currently trading at about $4,056 an ounce, down more than 8% over the past month and nearly 30% below its record high of $5,595 reached in January. Winston Taki has been following the numbers.
Gold, the single biggest contributor to Ghana's recent economic recovery, is retreating from record highs, raising questions about the country's external earnings and foreign exchange outlook. As of July 2nd, spot gold is trading at approximately $4,056 per ounce, representing an 8.3% decline over the past month. The price is also well below the all-time high of $5,595 per ounce recorded in January 29. According to the World Gold Council, the first half of 2026 has been one of the most volatile periods for the precious metal. Three factors are driving the correction. First, investors are increasingly expecting the U.S. Federal Reserve to raise interest rates as early as September. Higher interest rates increase the appeal of interest-bearing assets, such as government bonds, reducing demand for gold, which generates no income. Second, a stronger U.S. dollar has made gold more expensive for international buyers, weighing on global demand. Third, international investors are taking profits after gold's exceptional rally earlier this year. For Ghana, gold remains the country's largest export commodity, accounting for roughly 40% of external earnings. Last year, gold export generated about $20 billion, helping to support the city's appreciation and strengthen the country's external position. However, if gold prices remain under pressure in the second half of the year, the country could face lower reserve accumulation and renewed pressure on the city at a time when fiscal discipline remains critical.
Well, that's all in Business Update, and that's how we wrap up the AM News for today. Up next is AM Sports.
Welcome to Sulas Enterprise, the shop that deals in industrial machinery such as generators, rice millers, water pumps, compressors, and mowers. From the smallest to the largest capacity, at Sulas Enterprise, we give you nothing but the best from the best brands such as Honda and Perkins. When it comes to our generators, we also sell mowers coming from brands like Honda, Briggs and Straton, and Oleoma. And when it comes to our water pumps, we offer you brands like Lily, Prudin, and Pedrolo water pumps. We also sell rice millers for all capacities. We are located at Spintex, Kakalika Plaza. Also, find our various locations as displayed on screen, or call us on the following numbers: 0243-839-463 or 0554-154-416 or 0240-541-493.
Sulas Enterprise, where quality meets affordability.
Discover Willow Lane in Sakumono, one of Ghana's most prime community. These expertly designed 4-bedroom homes feature a private elevator, 4 ensuite bedrooms, private balconies, walk-in closets, and a gourmet kitchen and a maid's quarters. Perfect for families, executives, investors, and retirees. Our community offers a swimming pool, playground, and 3-tier security for your peace of mind. Experience the ultimate in comfort, convenience, and community here at Willow Lane, Sakumon. Visit waylead.org or call 0240-111119 or 0308-040500 to book your tour today. Waylead, your trusted home builder.
Through every stage of life,
Let's go.
some things simply stay with us. The spirit of never giving up. A throwback to a bygone era. Love was service. The silent statement of love. A forceful gesture that deepens bonds, balancing work and life. Every drop refreshes, every sip hydrates, just as it should. I am awake, one for life. Drink water, drink awake. Supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert.
On the AM show, my name is Haruna Mubarak, and it's win or go home in Kansas City as the Black Stars face Colombia in the early hours of Saturday in the round of 32 with a place in the 2026 FIFA World Cup round of 16 at stake after navigating Group L with matches against Panama, England, and Croatia in Providence. Ghana now turns its attention to the South Americans in a knockout clash that could define the team's campaign. Joy Sports editor Fentio Tahiru Fentio monitored the team's final training session and filed this report.
So, quick update from the Black Stars training camp. Every player here is fit and ready. The players that had injury concerns, like Lawrence Atizigi, he's training fine. There was also injury concern for Jerome Opoku and Antoine Semenyo. They also trained fine here at the Kansas City training facility. And by and large, it looks like, as far as fitness concerns go, the head coach, Carlos Queiroz, has a full squad to choose from for that game against Colombia tomorrow night. It's one thing I can report is that it's really hot. In all 3 previous matches that we've played at this tournament, it's rained on the match day. I'm not exactly sure if it's going to rain tomorrow, but I know that it's going to be really, really hot and humid. As to whether that will play into any sort of advantage for us, I'm not exactly sure. One thing I can also say is that while we know that the government isn't bringing supporters here, we know a lot of supporters around the Midwest are organizing themselves to try and come and watch the game. The biggest issue has to do with tickets, and a lot of them obviously are struggling to get the tickets because of the price attached to them. I can report that I've met some people who have told me that they've managed to get tickets for around $360. So if you live around the Midwest, you probably should come and try to work out your ticket situation at the Black Stars Hotel. It might be possible to get a ticket around $360 so that you can come and watch the Black Stars. But
well, Ghana is hoping to reach the World Cup round of 16 for the first time since the South Africa edition in 2010. Standing in their way is Colombia, who topped Group K and remained unbeaten in the tournament. Black Stars coach Carlos Queiroz says there's little margin for error in Saturday's encounter.
Important game for both teams, and it will be great to see 2 fantastic teams on the pitch, different styles, with both teams committed to win the game, create entertainment, and for sure both teams trying to bring the best results home. And I hope with the right inspiration and the right attitude, we'll be able to be a better team on the pitch tomorrow, and of course get the result that our fans, they expect from us. With all due respect of Colombia, of course, but this is our commitment for tomorrow. Different competitions, but knockout stage, it is something special. There is nothing to compare in football when you go to this stage of everything to the winner, nothing to the loser. Those are the really World Cup start now for us. These are the games that counts and matters. It's more about. It's not only about talent. It's about character. It's about attitude, courage, bravery. During 90 minutes, and in this game there is no guys that some of them are brave or others not brave. It's just guys that they last more 10 minutes than the others, and this is exactly what we are doing with the players to make them ready to be always one step ahead of the game, one jump more, one run more, one sprint more, one better pass, and we have to play the game. This is my experience. We know it is a lot of pressure. You know, we don't need to bring more pressure for us. We have to be sure that when the game starts, I have to be sure that my players, they really enjoy to play the game. They enjoy every challenge, every pass, every strike on goal, every single duel. And when we start to win those small things in the game, we start to build the result that we expect.
Of the record 9 African countries that advanced to the round of 32, 5 have already been eliminated, with Morocco the only side to have secured a place in the round of 16 so far. Black Stars captain Jordan Ayew believes Ghana will not become another casualty.
Personally, I think the Croatia game was a one-off. Let's take it like that. Colombia is a knockout stage. It's going to be a knockout game, so it's going to be totally different, and we'll have to be ready for that challenge. You know, and it's a top team, and it's going to be a difficult game. But I'm confident that with what the manager have told us tactically, we'll be ready for the challenge tomorrow. So there's no problem about that. Listen, in football, I think every game you start is 50-50, and tomorrow is going to be another tight game. And listen, we're going to do our best. We're going to put on a show, and we'll see what will happen. But what I can guarantee is that we'll definitely make Africa proud and Ghana proud.
Well, the match comes off at 1:30 a.m. Tomorrow, and of course, you can watch that particular match on the Joy Prime channel. Now, elsewhere at the World Cup, Algeria, they are the latest African side to exit the competition after suffering a 2-0 defeat to Switzerland in the round of 32. Portugal, they came from behind to beat Croatia and book a place in the round of 16. Spain as well, they advanced for the first time since 2010 after securing a 3-0 victory over Austria. And that's how we wrap up the sports segment on the AM show. My name is Haruna Mubarak.
Algerian passion. Manzambi. Good surge this. Johan Manzambi still goes. And it's in! Embolo! What a run by Manzambi! And Breel Embolo in the right place at the right time. Enjoy it. Flora off balance this time. Embolo. Oh, it was Zakaria. Ruben Vargas. Two players colliding. Another quick restart for the Algerians. And it's a shot on target in the end from Fares. Awar unselfishly trying to bring in the fullback Belkali. Oh, it's dangerous. His delivery straight towards Sabaini, who should have cleared. And again, they should have got it away. And enjoy! What a start to the second half for Switzerland! Oh, they've got their eyes on the last 16 now. Here's Belkali. Can he make amends? Great ball in! Mahrez's attempt is blocked. That could have been the perfect response to feed Vargas. Ruben Vargas! Doig takes on the charge again. It's only been half cleared again. Return to him by Ndoye. Embolo! Reader, how did he not score? Fabian Reader! Freuler! The Swiss.
Someone at a World Cup. Good ball into the box, all the way through! And once again, somehow, Stanisic for the cross. It's going to come to Perisic. And Croatia have scored! All the talk of the great veterans in their World Cup squad. You don't forget this guy! Sucic again on Vlasic. Flag stayed down. And he can cross it, and they've got another one! And now the flag has gone up. It's taking a while for them to sort it out. Here's Ronaldo trying to get on the end of this. He's there, and he clipped it past the keeper. But the flag goes up on the far side. In-swinger all the way through. Renato Vega didn't quite get there.
Final decision, penalty.
Ronaldo. 1-1 in Toronto. And Cristiano Ronaldo can get them to cry through once more. out to Vlasic. And look at them break that line. And they're through with Sucic. The offside flag is up. Goes for the early ball. And the header is in. The super sub does it again. 5 in the middle. Here's the ball in. And it falls in the back. And it's gone into the net.
Final decision, offside.
Now it's over. For Cristiano Ronaldo, the World Cup journey continues. For Luka Modric, it's journey's end.
Los Angeles. Here's Lamal. Skips away from Lima. It's Lamine Yamal's corner now. Goalkeeper under real pressure and in. But it appears that this is not going to count. It stays 0-0. Little top of the shoulder. Oh, it's a great shot and a brilliant save from Alexander Schlager. Oh, yes. Goal number 3 of the tournament for Mikel Oyarzabal. He's a pure finisher. Lethal. Just so direct. Defender's nightmare. Slamal. Baena might have a crack at goal here. He does! And hits the frame of the Austrian goal. Oh, he hadn't cleared it yet. But Alexander Schlager with a very smart stop. Brave. Baena. Oh, yes, 2-0. And where did he arrive from? Pedro Porro. They make it 2. That is what Spain is all about. And here they go, looking to put the game out of sight of Austria, and they would have done. Cucurella, it's a well-timed run, it's 3. Austria put to sleep. And Mikel Oyarzabal says, I'm in the picture. Glenn Nyland brings this round of 32 match to a conclusion. They've beaten Austria by 3.
I didn't think it would happen to me, but it happened to me.
Ghana's digital economy is booming. Millions of transactions, billions of cities, a future powered by technology. But beneath the convenience lies a growing threat.
Now it's becoming more towards digital fraud.
If we place convenience excessively over security, we run the risk of breaking down the number one currency that we have in that ecosystem, and that is trust.
The Digital Economy Forum is a thought leadership series examining the opportunities, risks, and choices shaping Ghana's economic future. In our maiden edition, we tackle a critical issue, the trust crisis, why fraud is holding back Ghana's digital economy.
We need to have a 360-degree solution.
Join Head of FinTech and Innovation at the Bank of Ghana, Elhanan Oreku-Asare, Economist Professor Godfred Bokpin, CEO of Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewua, Executive Chairman of E-Crime Bureau, Dr. Albert Enchibu-Esiako, Chief Risk and Compliance Officer at Mobile Money FinTech Limited, Godwin Tamaklo, Deputy Director General in charge of Technical Operations at the Cybersecurity Authority, Stephen Kojo Seshi, and Head of Internal Affairs at Haptel, Ebenezer Bofo. The Digital Economy Forum, the Trust Crisis, why fraud is holding back Ghana's digital economy. Brought to you in partnership with Haptel. It's happening on Wednesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. live on Joy News, Joy FM, and across our social media platforms.
This week on the Career Trail.
Why should anyone listen to this conversation?
Make you know what people say.
I wasn't born in a marriage. I had not even spoken to him for even more than 5 minutes before. I cried so much as to whether I'll be able to survive in a school. I had no idea. I had a final chance, 3 chances to get this right. If you don't get it right, they'll kick you out of the university. But I had made God a promise that if I pass this pharmacy course, wherever I'm driving, I'll stop the car and I'll prostrate on the road. Sat the exam. The day I went to the exam room, it was full of year 2 students doing research. I was the only 3rd-year student.
If we ever settle down, I will never let you down. You will always wear my crown.
The law affects everything, your job, your home, your rights. But for many, the law feels distant, complicated, full of big words and bigger confusion, legal jargons, constitutional twists, hidden loopholes. And sometimes what seems simple is far more complex than it appears.
Even if he's a tenant, but he conducts himself as if he's the owner, he has automatically stated to you that you are no more the owner.
That's why there is the law, a program designed for you to break it all down, to explain, to clarify.
The ends of justice are that the outcome must be fair, it must be conscionable, it must be equitable, and it must be just.
The law, it's your legal rights, it's your health law. On Joy News, independent, fearless, credible.
Prayer invites God. Prayer is an invitation and is a divine summons that summonses God to step in the affairs of men.
What this conference has done for me is indescribable.
Now let the angels who excel in strength, who do his command, who hearken to the voice of his word, let them go to war and to work on my behalf. I say so. I am the Redeemer of the Lord.
And at the end, he said, you will testify. And I felt something shift.
I went back home and I couldn't sleep. It was like the prayer was locked up in my spirit.
Prayer is a weapon of enforcement. Enforcing what has been done. Praying about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. That is not unbelief. That that is enforcing the word, enforcing the will of God, superimposing the will of God over the forces of evil.
Everywhere the summit is, I will be there.
It doesn't matter what, prayer still works. Put your hands together and shout yes.
So this strategy will lead. Oh no, not again.
Sir, relax. The generator will come on now.
The generator is not working. Why stress yourself when the experts are just one tap away? Introducing Left Power, the smart emergency support app from Left Signature Limited. With Left Power, certified engineers respond fast, anytime, anywhere. No delays, no stories.
Hello, sir. This is Left Signature Limited. The request has been received and our engineers are already on their way. Please relax. We've got you covered.
This is professional. Every Left expert is certified, verified, and can be tracked in real time. Oh, you'll know they're coming before they even arrive. From electrical engineering and solar power systems to data center management, cloud services, smart automation, and software development, Left Signature delivers excellence, fast, reliable, and professional. Left Power.
Your solution is just one tap away.
Available on Play Store and App Store.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up and in no time our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults? This price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Everything has meaning, but not everything is as it seems. For every story told, there are versions of the truth.
We can't afford to look at this, the numbers that have been presented, and say, we are tired, it's the same old issue. No, somebody should be prosecuted.
Every opinion can be debated. Every claim can be challenged. Even the idea of the national interest can and must be interrogated.
This is the date it was. This was the date it was printed from the system.
That is what you print.
What is he talking about?
Because sometimes the real facts are buried deep within layers of interpretation. So we ask the harder questions. We test every claim. We raise the standard of public discourse and place every issue on the altar of unbiased scrutiny. This is Newsfile, your most authoritative news analysis platform. And here on Newsfile, we put Ghana first.
We stand beneath you. What are you doing?
Newsfile with Samson Ladi and Yanini. On Joy News, independent, fearless, and credible.
Aside bad, dusty roads reducing patronage of Lake Bosomtwi, one of Ashanti region's most prized tourism destinations is facing the danger of illegal mining invasions.
Down in the belly of this crater is Lake Bosomtwi, surrounded by mountains and greenery, the pride of Ashanti and one of the major tourism destinations in the Ashanti region. But right here on this hill, illegal miners have besieged and tried to destroy the only substance that separates the two, this mountain and Lake Bosomtwe. And as you can see, illegal miners have eaten up this forest, gradually digging deep towards the valley of this great resource.
Here at Beposo, illegal miners, mostly indigents of the town and others, have been digging and washing for gold, threatening danger close to the buffer of the lake.
As you can see, the illegal miners are digging gradually deep, eating into the only layer that separates this mountain from the valley of the lake. As far as gold goes, the illegal miners will continue to dig and dig until finally there is nothing left. And that will start leaking mining residue down this mountain into the valley of the lake itself.
The miners have laid pipes connected to a mechanized borehole, pumping water up one of the mountains surrounding the lake, using it to dig and wash for gold. They've already cleared a substantial part of the mountain, but they push on with the trajectory of the line trace of gold, leading them even close to the valley which hosts this great lake. The Ashanti Regional Minister in a Facebook post said the owner of the site, one Richard Entry, claims to have lawfully acquired the land, adding that investigations are underway to ascertain whether he has requisite mining licenses. But the illegality is not limited to this mountain at Beposo. In the valley of the adjoining town of Konkoma, just below Lake Bosomtwe, illegal miners have taken over, mining with impunity. Today, based on social media reports on the illegality around Lake Bosomtwe, national security operatives have seized equipment belonging to the miners. But our drone caught another excavator sitting in the mining mess at Konkoma.
This is Kontanase. Now to my right, this road leads to Lake Bosomtwe, which is a major tourism attraction for Ashanti region. Now a few meters on this road is a town called Yase, which is also very close to the lake, and that is where illegal miners have pitched camp, doing unsustainable mining within that enclave.
Some meters from the lake road in the town of Yase, armed groups have mounted a barrier protecting an illegal miner who is destroying lands within the precincts of the Bosomtwe district. We were prevented from going to the grounds, but our drone footages show illegal mining sites springing up terrain at Yase in the Bosomtwe district. Perhaps a stitch in time saves 9. Reporting for Joy News, Erastus Asaredonko, Bosomtwe, Ashanti region.
Oh, people should see me.
Days after the heavy rains, residents at my 11 in the Wajagba municipality are still counting the cost of the devastation. I'm at a community known as Hand of God, where the destruction remains evident. The entire area has been cut off, with access roads rendered impassable. Even motorbikes are unable to get through. Now, one of the hardest hit residents is the owner of this one-story, 5-bedroom house. From what is visible, nearly a quarter of the building is buried under silt. The house, which sits in a valley was overwhelmed when torrents of water rushed down from a nearby hill, carrying huge volumes of mud and debris that eventually settled inside the building. Now, the flood water inundated every room, leaving behind thick deposits of silt and have made the house completely uninhabitable. Now, large cracks have appeared in part of the structure, raising fears that the building could collapse if urgent intervention is not taken. Mattresses, clothing, furniture, and other household belongings have all been destroyed, leaving the family with little they could salvage from what was once their home. I have the owner of the property here, Mrs. Osei, here with me. She has been crying since we arrived here on the ground.
Our furnitures, cookers, wardrobes, bed, king size beds and other things. If you can see them lying right here.
Yeah.
So, you can go into the everything. I'm destroying this house.
What are your immediate needs right now?
Yes, our immediate need is what we eat.
Okay.
What to eat and what to wear.
Okay.
And where to lay our head, because now we can't even sleep at somebody's place. We be roaming about. When we come and sleep here today, the next day we go and ask and sleep at another person's place. We have scattered. So I'm pleading to the whole world, the whole nation, His Excellency, diplomatic people, church leaders, that they should come into our aid. Now we are homeless. We don't have anywhere to sleep, anywhere, even what to eat and what to wear. Now it's a problem for us now. Even the children are there now. They are not even going to school. As I'm talking now, I don't know even where some are. Because at the nights, everybody's scattered. The day time, we come and gather here.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's now get into the Matters Horizon segment. My guests are seated. But before then, remember that the AM show is sponsored by Showed Silicone Paints from Azar Group, Syntex Pipes, and Time Herbal Mixture. Now, the World Cup fever is on, and you know what? For us as Ghanaians, this dawn at, I'm told around 1 a.m., would be facing Colombia, and we're all excited, you know, and a lot of people are getting excited. But Compu Ghana says the match shouldn't just be on the pitch. You can bring stadium experience home. This is the time to buy your crystal clear TVs, sound bars, home theaters, smartphones, laptops, projectors, and more at unbeatable prices. Remember, this isn't just a discount sale. It's a chance to win a 100-inch 4K smart TV, cash, laptops, phones, and many other amazing prizes when you spend 1,000 cedis or more. Rush to any Compu Ghana showroom or shop online at CompuGhana.com. Call 0302-752020 or WhatsApp 0243-14-3143. Compu Ghana Gold Rush season, the ultimate football experience. Now, football's biggest tournament is on, and there's no better way to back your team than on Betano. Sign up today on Betano and claim a welcome bonus of up to 2,000 Ghana cedis on your first deposit to enjoy the World Cup. Simply create your Betano account, verify your details, make your first deposit, and make we bet. 18 plus only. Terms and conditions apply. We say gamble responsibly. This has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Well, let me say good morning to you. Samuel Doomson, you're watching us live from Aketenche in the Hunter West Municipality. You and your family, good morning to you. And thanks for watching us this morning. Everybody who's watching us, we say we're grateful. Now, I have in the studio lawyer Andrew Appiah-Dankwa. He's Director, Legal and Constitutional Affairs, United Party. Good morning to you, lawyer.
Good morning.
All good?
I'm doing great.
Okay.
Yourself?
Managing. Since Monday's flats, I haven't really been, but yeah, we're managing. Yeah. And I'm eager that Black Stars will do something positive for us this dawn.
Yeah, same here.
Okay. Professor Isaac Bodi is Dean of Accounting and Finance Faculty of the UPSA. Prof, good morning.
Good morning.
Hope all good?
Very well.
But though you are in a certain fugu, but the colors looks quite close. You know, when you look at it closely. Yeah. Anyway, and then the man Kofi Kapito, CEO of Consumer Protection Agency, is here. Kofi, good morning.
Good morning.
As all is well.
Divine selection has reached us.
I can only look forward to your heating this morning. Yeah. You will say it as it is. Appear to do that for us and Prof. Well, let's get into the matters, but of course, let's start from the Black Stars, just briefly, before we'll go move on.
Yes. Yeah. So, let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning. Yourself a good morning. My own uncle a good morning, and my mother Prof a good morning. Today is also my younger sister's baby, Mrs. Priscilla Akwabiamayo. I also wish her a good morning. Before the World Cup, to be very honest with you, I was not hopeful, in my opinion, based on just talent and based on, in my opinion, the fundamental lack of meritocracy in how the Black Stars has been managed. I was not too hopeful. But having watched them, and I've watched 2 matches, I've seen a spirit that in my opinion, represents the spirit of Ghana. I've seen the resilience, I've seen the desire to die just a little bit for our country. And for me, no matter what happens today, that's what I've taken away from the Black Stars performance. I've seen evidence that sheer commitment, sheer will, sheer desire to die a little bit can cause this country to reclaim its place as the Black Star of Africa. And for me, that spirit represents the spirit of the people of this country. And that's the spirit that is calling out for leadership. And so, I'm hopeful today. I'm hopeful not because I believe that they are talented. Like I said, in my opinion, this is about the least talented Black Stars. But they've shown an incredible spirit, incredible commitment to their national cause. And I believe that if they show that today, they show that spirit today. They showed that spirit even in the Croatia match. No, we lost 1, but I went home not too sad. Because for me, I thought that they had given everything on the pitch, and really that's what we asked for. So they should go today with that same spirit. I know that, in won't be just 11 boys kicking the ball. It will be over 36 million Ghanaians kicking the ball with them. Exactly. And the spirit of Ghana will come to the fore again. And when that spirit comes to the fore, Ghana is almost unbeatable. Okay. So I'm hopeful they should just go and give their all. Once they give their all, I trust that they'll have the massive support of every Ghanaian and they'll make us proud.
Okay, all right. Chief Kofi.
You know, by what Javier Kofi said, Dankwa said about the least he's seen by the committed. It reminds me of Segani Azakis. They will go and they will be beaten and they say, no, we're saying, oh, you're true.
Yeah, true.
That means they've dribbled them seriously.
Interesting.
So, look, I like the fact that some of these new players are given opportunity. I've dabbed a little bit in football, but not that extreme. And there's a saying that you are as wicked as a reserve player. Because reserve player, his wish is somebody should get injured so that he'll get opportunity to come and show what he can do. And I think the young players who's gotten the opportunity, is it the gentleman from Bichin? Or Denchi?
No, Bichin.
It's from, I hear it's from Bichin.
Yeah, Bichin, what's called
Yenchi, you know, his people come from there. So even now, they are claiming him that, he's from. You know, and you look at all these young players and the amount of commitment. They play as a group. That's what I like. It's not about the individual. If you are in trouble, I'll come and support you. That whole thing. I was surprised to see Ghana was able to play the defense that they played. You know, that you cannot even penetrate. No matter whether Messi, you know, Hurricane, whoever, you cannot. So I hope that tonight we'll see that spirit again. And possibly the Ghanaian spirit, which lately seems to be dying. Maybe they can evoke that spirit so that, you know, before not too long ago, even when you travel outside and go to Europe and other countries, the moment you say you're an African, the next question they ask you, oh, are you Ghanaian? Whether you are Ghanaian or, because we had actually been able to express beyond Ghana that people recognize every African as a Ghanaian. So I expect that spirit to come back.
Well, if you look, I didn't even believe in our defensive pair, but they've really proven that when you give people the chance, they can. And I think because we're also being coached by a defensively tactical manager. Carlos Queiroz, everybody knows what he did with Manchester United. Last time, our former captain, Neville.
No, your former captain.
Oh, yes. He's not a former captain. My former captain of Manchester United. Neville said it was the reason why we were able to win the 2008 when we beat Barcelona quarterfinals. That game, we only scored them one goal.
Say when my team.
That's why I said my former. So I've corrected myself. So our manager is also doing something right. Hey, not the more time Manchester, sir. Anyway, a problem now.
You know, it's interesting. Tonight we are only hoping and praying that.
So I think it's tomorrow dawn.
Ghana win. Is that dawn?
1 a.m.
In the morning, 1 a.m. But football has a way of dropping tension in the system, and that's one aspect that when Ghana is playing or we have a tournament such as we have now, all activities, things will stop. You don't hear political jargons. You don't hear major issues in our country being mentioned or discussed. It takes over everything. And it brings all of us together as colleagues, as friends, or people with different ideologies and all that. You know, when Ghana is playing, You don't see NDC, you don't see MPP. That's the only time you don't see any color there. One color you see is what you are wearing today. So I wish every day we are playing football because it drops the tension. The tension, the political tension drops. So this at dawn, I hope, my prayer is that Ghana wins. We go beyond the phase, the 16, 1 or 16,
run of 32 to get into the 16.
To get a 16. Yeah. So that's my prayer. But one thing that I also want to, if the coaches and players are listening, for some last week, when we played with England, there was a penalty or so that.
We didn't.
And the aftermath.
We didn't
was
protest.
That,
we didn't protest.
Aftermath was that we should constantly be protesting. Yeah. You know, we have to be careful too.
Now maybe it is God's doing that we didn't protest that penalty.
But when it gets in the head of these individuals, they will do things beyond control. So they should watch. It's good to protest, but sometimes be very careful the way and manner you do that. So wish them well. Wish them well.
All right. So that is what it is. But you know what? The Black Stars have really proven that, and they brought back that love, right? Because, like you said, Apia, going into this tournament, not many people give them a dog chance, to do well. Yeah. But it's proven that if you give us that chance, look at Benjamin Asare, for example. Yeah. And like Uncle said, sometimes a bench player is praying that someone should get injured. I think he got injured. Ben came in and has proven that, look, the local boys can be trusted to deliver as well.
Oh, for me, it's not about local or foreign. You see, for some of us, Accra has been let meritocracy work. But you see, for me, and deliberately, I've not been watching the matches at home.
Okay.
I've been watching the matches at Honeysuckle. You should come there.
Take me.
I'll think
where?
Honeysuckle. Such matches you don't watch.
Which branch?
You go to any honeysuckle. Honeysuckle, go to any honeysuckle. I'm really flattered for them. You see, the spirit of the Ghanaian young people is immense. For me, anytime I go there, if I recall myself having goosebumps.
Goosebumps.
When the whole pub, and it was packed to the rafters, sung a national anthem with so much passion. You understand? And I'm there, I'm thinking, listen, all this spirit, this potential, this love for our country, all it needs is leadership. You understand? Because I know Prof was talking about politics. No, if we do politics and if the focus of our politics is Ghana, you understand? Then we can have the same attitude, the same passion towards the development of Ghana. But what we call politics here is not politics. It's power struggle, understand? And it's forward by our parochial interests. And that's why it looks like it's just football that brings us together. Because when Black Stars is playing, all of our commitment is Ghana. Yeah, Ghana. I think we should take a cue from that and bring that also into, because politics is not bad. Okay. But we seem to be making politics look bad. Because anytime I hear the statement, let's take the politics out, I'm like, well, you can't, because it's politics. You can't take politics out because politics essentially is the decision as how to expend with your resources. You understand? So for me, like I'm saying, what I've seen at Honeysuckle, and you see it across Ghana, the pubs in Ghana, is about a deep-seated love for this country. You understand? And all it's calling for is right leadership to harness this patriotism. Understand? Okay. Towards the building and the process of causing Ghana to rise again to become the Black Star of Africa. And I think the football, the love I've seen should instigate that.
Okay. All right. So Dr. John Osai-Kopo is Director of Quality Assurance and Institutional Effectiveness at Ashesi University. Doc, as you're a doc there, I don't seem to be discussing a lot of football on Facebook, so I don't know.
Apart from good morning to you, good morning to everyone else. Yes. Apart from when my team loses and I bash.
Oh yes.
I bash the referee for cheating Chelsea. Yes. But it's an exciting time. Yeah. I've been watching it at Poki House.
Okay.
So I was there to watch the Ghana-England game, and it was just nice and exciting.
I guess I have to take your cue and go and watch it.
Yes, the euphoria, just being together with others, just cheering, yelling, screaming. You would think that yelling through the screen, they would hear us. But it's also just nice just to see all of us really behind the Black Stars. Yes, every so often would throw a few criticisms here and there, but it's just exciting because in the lead up to the World Cup, once in a while you see these moments of are we all really behind the Black Stars like we're supposed to? But I think once the tournament started, that we really come around to support the Black Stars. I was quite surprised just to see all of a sudden the number of people in Black Stars jerseys and all of that. So I really hope that we'll do well and progress.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's continue with South Africa now. I'll start with you.
Here's a question, though. Is the Ministry of Sports or the GFA, have they set up a fan park somewhere?
In Ghana?
Yeah, in Accra, somewhere, a fan park. Because, I mean, like you go into honeysuckle, if you have a fan park, that is another outlet for people to go in. That's what most people do who cannot go to the stadium. And the jammers and things, you can see the jammer and everything there.
Even in the US, behind the stadiums, there are fan parks.
Yes.
So you could see videos, you could see some of our supporters on the fan park.
Yes, so I'm hoping that, they will take it as an advice and set up somewhere where masses can also go,
Okay. All right. From football, let's go back to your country. Go back and help build your country. Well, this week we saw the numbers thrown onto the street. Unfortunately for Ghana, one of our citizens got caught up in the situation and then he was shot, according to a report that we've received. Doc, let me still start with you. Many people have said they haven't seen enough from the South African authorities in trying to bring this under control. What's your own reading of the situation in South Africa, and what do you expect the government there to do?
I expected greater law enforcement, at least from some of when the whole movement started with the protests and all of that. When you look at, or when you watch some of the videos, it was a bit surprising and worrying that you could see police presence in some of the places, and yet people were being manhandled, people were being pushed around sometimes, being hit and all of that. So I expected greater law enforcement. Yes, I understand immigration is a challenge not just for South Africa, but it's become one of the hot button political issues where various countries, even in the West and Europe, are grappling with how to deal with the question of immigration. I think what makes the South African case also more peculiar for me is that it is also happening at a time where we are having a lot more conversations about greater integration across the continent, ease of, free movement of persons, goods, services, across. If you follow the work of the Africa Prosperity Network, for example, they are pushing a lot of, visa-free Africa, a borderless Africa. So within that context, it even makes the South African situation even more challenging. I expect that
yesterday the director of communications of UP said one killing money. Is that the name?
Yeah.
After should resign.
In fact, myself.
He mentioned your name. That youth petition.
Yeah, youth petition. Yeah. Not just him, also the president.
So that for me has been the worry. But I expect, again, greater law enforcement, whatever the grievances are, whatever the issues are, you can separate issues of illegal immigration for those who have, lawful presence, residence there. And if it's a question of illegal immigration, there is a more humane, lawful way of dealing with it. And yes, the the citizens of a country would always, you would have some of them would always express angst about, immigrants and, their presence and all of that. But there is a more humane way of dealing with it. And that is what I expected, that both law enforcement and the government of South Africa will find ways to both address, the drivers of the angst that this group is expressing, whilst at the same time also protecting immigrants.
The President Ramaphosa has spoken after the demonstrations.
After the deadline.
Yes, but he spoke when the demonstrations, after the demonstrations, he spoke and said, well, that's the constitutional right of South Africans, and they would protect them. And then the question was asked about how destruction. They said, well, it was largely peaceful. Now, when people talk about South Africa and say we were all part of building the South Africa we see, and the sort of responses or the sort of leadership you expected the president and his government to show, have you seen that? And will you blame them if they haven't, looking at the fact that they are going into an election and issues of immigration is big on the agenda?
I think it's just a group of people. You see, we've seen other jurisdictions use immigration to make their statement heard, but it's normally through the government.
Yeah.
If you look at America, it's ICE, which is government. You look at when Ghana, we also got involved. With Nigeria, it was government who said they should go. If you look at even Nigeria and Ghana, it was government. It wasn't a group of people who decided to come together and say, you must go. I used to visit Germany back in the day, and that is when the Turkish people were being harassed to go back. They used to call them Ausländer raus. Okay, but if the government sits aloof, this is started not just recently. First, I used to see the girl, some girl who was Jacinta. And then all of a sudden, this guy also comes in and says his men, if 280,000 people listen to him. If you have somebody who can let 280,000 people on the street, you should be careful. That young man, the politician, what's his name?
I'm sure you're talking about the EFF guy.
Yes.
Malema.
Malema. Even when he is speaking for his people, did you see how government has managed to harass him in his own country? Malema, he's speaking for his own people. The same government that seems not to be able to protect the non-African, the non-South Africans, seems not to be able to do anything. And then people are actually beating people, like Prof. Kapon said, the police is standing there. Normally is the police that will beat the people, and the people will also start to beat the police. If you look at the ISIS, when they go, people even block, then people protect the immigrants. But this, I'm trying to not be harsh on the guy. I think he's a lot different. Okay, because he cannot do that. He's taking the law of South Africa in his own hands.
And the president has met with him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I'm a little bit disappointed in the president. Okay, that if the president, so you state power. If he's not listening, you state power. To let him know that he's not bigger than the state. Because I'm sure it's not every South African who is into this xenophobia thing. I'm sure majority of South Africans are not even in support of it.
Yeah.
So why do you allow one guy, it's like a gang leader who rides into town with his posse and disturbing the peace that South Africa has enjoyed?
That's why I asked the question, will you blame the government when they are about going into an election? And these matters, immigration, is big on the agenda in South Africa.
Let me ask you a question. The guy that you mentioned his name, Malema, who is more who's more in the tone or the flesh of the government than Malema. Malema. Okay, he even wants to get power. So just for, and I hear it's basically, it's a tribe, the Zulu people, who are very much into this thing. In South Africa, they have different tribes. So
yeah.
So if just one tribe or one individual thinks he can use his people to disturb the economic peace of South Africa, that's the economic peace. And to me, the government of South Africa can do better. They can really, really, really do better. Because like I said, the guy is not bigger than the state.
Okay. Some people have said that what the group is doing cannot be done without governmental support. Someone even said, if you look at the numbers that poured onto the street, it can't happen without government funding it. Do you also align with that sentiment? And if that is it, what should our government do as well?
In fact, what has happened in South Africa, the betrayal by the South African government, not just to the so-called immigrants, but to the whole Africa. You understand? For me, it shows evidence of the fundamental lack of leadership and the negative politics we do here in Africa generally. Because really, the government in South Africa is just looking at the partisan impact. You know, and one of the reasons touted for what they are doing is lack of jobs. The fact that the so-called immigrants have come into their country and they've taken their jobs.
Yeah.
You understand? And when you listen to Malema, the fact that he says, the fact that, because he has taken a position which is anti I will not call it xenophobia. It is Afrophobia. This is not xenophobia. Because they're not going after foreigners, they're just going after their African brothers. Caused him to lose votes. No, Malema was like the third force in South Africa. The last election, his vote even dropped. And in one of his in his commentaries, he keeps on saying that I'm against what you are doing, even if it means losing votes. Because what is happening in South Africa, beyond a clear evidence of what happens where the reason why we have government in the first place is flouted. Because when you read Thomas Hobbes in his book, The Levantine, and which gives the philosophical reasoning behind the kind of government systems we have now, you understand? Essentially being, let's all give us a seed, a bit of our powers to government, so our government will protect our lives, protect our liberties, protect our fundamental right to pursue our own happiness. And you think that South Africa will be reduced to a situation where citizens have the confidence to take law into their own hands, as with the excuse of enforcing the law. And the government sits aloof, watches when people are dying, and they successfully undertake all these agendas. And we have images of the president sitting with these people who are breaching the fundamental principle that underpins the system of government we have now. Then whoever is making that claim against the president or the government in South Africa will not be far from being right. You understand? Because what is happening cannot have happened without the consent or indeed the participation of government. And for me, the biggest issue that I see here is that South Africa has driven a massive dagger in the heart of the Pan-African agenda. And it is a fundamental betrayal of Africans, because the biggest beneficiaries of the Pan-African agenda is South Africa. That they are the biggest beneficiary of the call for all Africa to come together as one. They are the biggest beneficiary. Because you see, in 1990 and 1991, all Africa jubilated with South Africa when they were set free from apartheid. Indeed, my first appearance on television was on Children's Home. Came to say a poem that Mandela. So in fact, when I was in class 1, I said the poem that Mandela must be free, Namibia must be free. With one deep voice, we make a call. We shall sleep in Calico. Because the fight against the ravages and evil of apartheid was not fought by South Africans alone. It was fought by all Africans because of the significance of apartheid. To the extent that South Africans at that time were granted different passports so they could travel. Indeed, Ramaphosa stayed in Ghana for a very long time. You get, and one would have thought that South Africa, with the extent to which they are organized, because some of us, in fact, a great man once told me, and I believe in that, the greatness of Africa is hidden in its chaos. The greatness of Africa, the riches of Africa is hidden in this chaos. And what it will take to unleash that greatness will be when we manage to bring order. You understand? South Africa, whether I like it or not, seems to have some order. And so one would have thought that they would lead the Pan-African drive. And see, what makes this even very, very, very frustrating for some of us is the time that they are undertaking this. Because you see, when I understand the geopolitics of the world, and when you take a historical analysis of the geopolitics, Africa has never had a chance to partake in any major geopolitical shift because of probably slave trade, colonialism. You understand? Because when you take the world changed radically after the 15th century. You understand? When the Roman Catholic Church gave the papal bulls, the 3 papal bulls, that led to slave trade. The thinking that non-Christians are heathen, and any heathen land can be taken and occupied by the and that was the fundamental or philosophical basis with this drive started by the Spanish, the Portuguese, later by the Dutch and the English in claiming the world. We didn't have a role to play during the Industrial Revolution. We didn't partake in the Industrial Revolution. We did not partake in colonialism. We didn't have a say when Europeans met and decided to partition Africa. The First World War changed the world radically. We didn't partake in that. The Second World War, we didn't partake in that. Now there's another after 1990. There was also a major political shift in 1990 when the USSR collapsed. We didn't take opportunity of that. Now another shift is happening right in front of us. And we cannot partake in this geopolitical shift if we remain as individual African countries. And that's why there's the call by Pan-Africanists for Africa to come together as one. And that coming together one include freedom of movement, like my uncle and my brother here said, freedom of movement. And that led to the creation of ACFTA. Indeed, CAF was created with African Union in mind. CAF, our football confederation of Africa. You understand? And one of the founding members of CAF was South Africa, incidentally. CAF. And you think that South Africa, that has been the biggest beneficiary of this call for Pan-Africanism, will be the ones who drive this dagger in the heart of the Pan-African agenda. And what is AU doing? Because Ghana shouldn't fight this battle alone. What is AU doing? What's the position of AU in this devilish agenda? By this, interestingly, it's been led by the blacks in South Africa. Because in South Africa, you don't only have blacks. Yes. You have Africans and you also have Africans. They call themselves Africans, but they are Dutch. You understand? But they call themselves Africans. And they're leading this agenda. And then you're sitting down. You see, what kind of message do you send when in the heart of this anti-Pan-African agenda by South Africa, you have two of the major Pan-African bodies, CAF and AFTA, being led by South Africans. We don't have an issue with the people leading the CAF and AFTA. As some of no forces with man claim, even majority of South Africans may not support this Afrophobia. But the fact that it is happening, And a message is being sent. Now, insofar as CAF and African Quota Free Trade are being led by South Africans, then the message that is being given is that we agree with this anti-Pan-African agenda being led by South Africa. You see, it's one thing meeting and having talk shows. We need to show real commitment to this Pan-African agenda. We need to show real commitment to this call for African unity. We need to, because Kwame Nkrumah said in 1963 that either we unite or we perish. That call, that need for African unity is bigger now than ever. And now we have evidence of what the lack of unity has done to our individual African countries. Why is CAF still being led by South African? He ought to be removed. We ought to make a statement. Why is the ACFTA being led by a South African? AU must condemn what is happening in South Africa in no certain terms. If it means sanctioning South Africa, we should do that. Because they've drawn us back. They've drawn this call for unity, this drive for unity back. And we ought to take a radical position. We ought to take a radical position. And that radical position is to make a statement to everybody else who may be behind this South African agenda, this Afrophobia agenda. And that position should start by removing the CAF president, and by removing. We've sent a petition to the Ghana Football Association. They are running away. They were running away. GFA. And the biggest problem in this country is we have men of courage who lead. See, leadership is a call of courage. It's a call that requires commitment and conviction
and sacrifice.
So you say you are Ghana Football Association. We went to Solomon, who saw myself one day. They were running away. They are there, and you see, because our politics is driven by our parochial interests and not. And because we do not see ourselves as being stewards also of the values, the ideals and principles of the group and the country we lead. Whenever there's a call to take a position that will preserve these values and ideals, our leaders run away. So, listen, I agree with the view that the government of South Africa is complicit. In fact, they may be partakers of this. But we ought to support the government, the Ghana government. But the Ghana government, in terms of this, they have done well. Now, we also, but it's not enough. We need to call the AU and all Africans to make a small statement by removing the CAF president, by removing the AFCTA boss, by removing all South Africans from any of our African Union groups, you understand? And if possible, take sanction against South Africa, all with the purpose of preserving and upholding our agenda to cause the real unity of Africa.
If you would respond to this, just do it in 30 seconds. The CAF presidency is by election. CAF cannot just get up and AU cannot just get up and say
no. So all the CAF
association
is an association of what?
Yes.
And the membership is country.
Yes.
So AU use and then all the Ghana Football Association. Of course, and Ghana should need that, because see, Ghana is the lighthouse of the Pan-African thought and thinking. Ghana. Okay. You understand? So we should need that, and that's what we are calling on the GFA. That take this opportunity, show that Ghana has strength. Because this Afrophobia has been happening since 2008. The mistake they did was to touch Ghana. No, they were not touching Ghana, we were just sitting down. But when they touched Ghana, they saw the power of Ghana. This is a powerful country. Ghana is a very powerful country. Yeah. It's the most because of the work Kwame Nkrumah did. Ghana was the lighthouse of the Pan-African agenda. Most Marcus Garvey, who was not Ghana, was you. This was where the Pan-African thought, you understand, was engendered, and we should leverage on that to cause all of Africa to come together and sack these what's called the CAF boss and a South African can lead any African. What's the moral right? What moral right do they have in the midst of this Afrophobia? To have South Africans lead any African group. What kind of message are we sending across? We cannot sit idle. We must take a stand, and that stand should be at the first to sack all South Africans who are leading any African group.
Okay, thank you. Prof, let me bring you in. Some people have also suggested that Ghana should retaliate by also looking at South Africans in Ghana and their business interests. You're a business person. Where do you stand?
Let me be quick to answer that question. That diplomacy should come tension. Rather, it shouldn't deepen tensions.
Okay.
You know, when you watch the scenes in South Africa and the way other foreign nationals are being treated, in fact, if you're not careful, you say a lot of things. And when you see a South African today, you go after that person. In fact, when you look at, I think yesterday, after the deadline, the day after the deadline, we saw the crowd, massive one. And I heard one Ghanaian lost their life. I don't know whether
he was shot
related.
in a shop.
Shot. I'll come to that issue. You know, you have your heart in your mouth when you see such a scene. But I'm looking at the bigger picture here. And the bigger picture, the issue about crime in South Africa, unemployment in South Africa, inequality in South Africa. So sometimes they think that we are the ones that they tell us, go back?
Go back.
Go back.
Go back.
But you see, after all this xenophobic act and all that, their issues will still remain. Inequalities will still remain. Crime will still remain. Unemployment. So they have not achieved anything. I ask myself, if Africa cannot guarantee the safety and dignity of Africans living in Africa, then what is the vision of the continental
free trade area?
There's no vision. We don't have any plan. If Africa cannot guarantee the safety, then what are we doing? You know, when I listen to some of the commentaries, you know, I ask a simple question, and I can understand where my good friend is coming from, you know, that what can we do to let South Africa listen to us? The question I asked yesterday. And for our country, we are generous. We have restrained ourselves well as a country. Can we continue to be doing this? What can we do to allow South Africa to listen to us? Let's even forget about AU. Let's forget about it. And that's the question you ask. Should we also go after their companies, their individual nationals who are here? But you see, in life, I've never seen two medical doctors fighting over a death of a patient. No, you investigate. So whatever is happening, it is important we allow diplomacy to work, to prevail.
Okay.
And we should not also incite our media to also use words, because look, if we have a lot of these companies around and the nationals are here, if we start attacking them, like what happened in Nigeria, the whole parliament house also, they are seeing it. The MPs got up and said, we should now retaliate. I don't know whether they listened to the international our comments. What happened when they lost their first match? The whole world against them. Can you continue to be doing this? You have your fundamental challenges there. And you see, when the system breaks down, the only person you attack will naturally be an immigrant. But the frustrations are there. The challenges are there. So I think that from where we are coming from, as a country, we have done well. And I must say that, yes, we can do better, but we should not incite comments. You know, when we do that, we won't have solution to the problem.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's move away from that and get to the Supreme Court. I'll start with you. Now, the Supreme Court has done away with all the cases that the former Chief Justice brought up against her being taken off the seat of the Supreme Court. Does that bring finality to these matters?
I hope so. I hope so, because having seen the judgment or ruling of the, but you know, even the Supreme Court can review their own. But for me, as a people, we shouldn't bring finality to the issue. Because I think they shouldn't. It shouldn't. For me, I think this is a time for us to have a proper discussion, because I think that this is my personal opinion. That Article 146 is so weak that it can be weaponized. And then also, as in, for instance, are you okay with a system that seeks to, in the spirit of accountability, seeks to provide a way in which judges and people who hold certain positions can be removed? And within that is a clause that says that we the people, or whatever they do in our name, justice emanates from the people. It is for us. Say that we cannot know because it is held in camera. Yeah. It's a problem. You understand? So even though, in my opinion, as things stands now, nothing illegal was done in what happened, I feel that that system itself is a problem. And so we ought to change that system, understand, to have a system that the people can't trust. Because a lot of the speculation, a lot of the lack of it was because you have a system that says that, when it comes to a hearing, this hearing, it is, what's it called, in camera, no transparency. We can't know. You understand? So as to what went, example, you know, a prima facie, as part of the processes, you must have a prima facie. Ideally, we should know what went into that. Yeah, we should know. You understand? So for me, I'm saying that there cannot be a finality because a discussion must be had as to the need to review that Article 146.
But that's different from her cases.
No. But her cases, see, it's not. This is not about what's called the former Chief Justice. No. It's not about her. Understand? We have a certain Article 146, which was applied to her, was applied to Charlotte Osei, has been applied. You understand? And in all these instances, there's a clause that says that it must be held in camera. Okay. As to how they came by their, whether or not there's a prima facie case or not, we all don't know. You understand? Especially when you have a system that says that the rule of law. And one of the fundamental attributes of a system that is the rule of law is certainty of the law. You must know what indeed, in fact, even in the stated misconduct, what is it? What does it mean? It must be clear, it must be defined. What constitutes stated misconduct? It must be clear. We must have a system that limits the use of discretion to the barest minimum. That is the essence of a constitutional democracy. Yes, so in the argument as to whether or not the law was followed or not, the law as it stands today, it was followed. You understand? But if you expand what the law is, and law is reason, free from passion, and the purpose of the law, is to create a system where our rights are protected. Then you can't have a process that says that it is based on our collective desire to have a system that is accountable. Say that when it comes to very certain critical bits of that process, we are not supposed to know. No. You understand? So for me, I feel that we've seen what has happened. We've seen the unnecessary political tension that it engendered. Let us have a discussion as to the suitability of this Article 146. Let us have a system that people can trust. Because democracy, which we claim is powered by the people, can never work if the people are not faithful to that system. And the people will not be faithful or fidel to the system if the system is not transparent enough. Because it is our collective duty to ensure that when it comes to some of these issues, it's not about partisanship. Because a lot of arguments that was had really were partisan arguments. I belong to this political party, so I have to make this argument. You understand? Without thinking about the purpose of the Constitution. You understand? So for me, in the call for us to create that right political culture, because that's the only way you can sustain a democracy, by creating the right political culture. And that right political culture should be a political culture that tolerates diverse views, that also holds political leadership accountable. We can't create that right political culture if the system allows for lack of transparency. You understand? Because we all say that injustice to one person is injustice to all. So for me, I think the call right now is let us have a discussion about the suitability or not of Article 146. It shouldn't be so easy that anybody at all can be removed at the whims of anybody. You understand? So yes, so for me, there can be closure. There cannot be closure. Okay. You understand? Because we should create a system that makes. We should create a situation where we are in a better position to make systems better. And I'm saying that in how Article 146 is couched and how it is applied, there are so many. I have so many issues with it, and I think we ought to have a dispassionate discussion on how to make it better.
Chief Capito, what do you stand on this?
You know, he's a lawyer, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
So if he's a lawyer, he's talking. Who am I to?
Oh, no, you can't say that.
No, I'm just saying that, you see, I would have wished to have lawyers or former Supreme Court judges discuss this issue. Then we will know exactly where we are going. Let me just give an example. When Trump came into power the second time, he felt like he can weaponize the judicial system by firing attorney generals, doing this. But the last decision by the Supreme Court has actually taken a lot of his decisions away from him.
Yeah.
That is the independence of the Supreme Court. All right? Because it's supposed to be the highest apex court. And before any case gets there, everybody expects finality and say, okay, fine. Let me ask, do the descending their decision, are they read for?
Oh, they are recorded, and there are so many instances where.
No, recorded is different from
when I say recorded, actually. No. What I mean is why I say recorded is because our system of governance is based on ratio decidendi, as in because so the decision of the courts become law. Mm-hmm. So when I say it's recorded, it's very critical because it means that I can make reference to it. Mm-hmm. And there have been so many instances where dissenting views have eventually become the law because time went by, people realized that no, this dissenting view probably was the better. Yes, and so they are recorded, and there's a reason why they are recorded. You understand? Because you can make reference to them, even though they may not be law until at some point when that dissenting view becomes a majority view. But at least it gives a basis for the legal development. And that's why the recording is very important.
Okay.
In the law reports.
All right. Interesting bit there. So that is the bit about which, judgment becoming law, and even the one that you say maybe you disagree with the major judgment later becoming a law there. Quite interesting. Now we're being told that for all the 4 cases which were filed against the removal, the Supreme Court has quashed all of them. Well, let me bring in Dr. Kopon. I'll come back to Kofi Capito. Yeah, Doc. So on this debate, you're a governance person. What does that do to our governance in Ghana?
This issue really caused a lot of division, right? But at the heart of it, in terms of a lot of the conversations that were coming up, also involved, what kinds of protections do we offer our independent constitutional bodies? What kind of protections do we offer the judiciary? Will this action weaken the judiciary? There's always this tension between how you hold independent constitutional bodies accountable. Because I always say that independent doesn't mean unaccountable. But how you do it also strengthens the accountability mechanisms you have in place in such a way that you also don't end up undermining or weakening. 146, the article upon which you can go through that process of removing someone like a Chief Justice, I believed had some fault lines. I actually did submit a memo to the Constitutional Review Committee when they called for individuals to send comments, thoughts, and ideas. They've made some recommendations in how to fix that article. For example, they've cut down the number of people the president can appoint to that committee. The petition now goes to the Council of State, who then gives it to a judicial committee of the Council of State, as opposed to it residing with the president. They've expanded the number of persons who can be on the committee. I think one of the recommendations is even to have someone from the Public Services Commission, a former MP, things like that, just to, create a sense of, true independence of the process. So hopefully all of those things would contribute to both if they do pass and go through and, it gets amended, that we will find a way to strengthen and deal with some of the fault lines of 146. But again, constitutions, constitutional provisions, issues will come up, cases will come up. That would test constitutions. My hope is that we would pass that test in terms of whatever outcomes that results from any test we subject our constitution and constitutional processes to would actually strengthen our governance architecture and not weaken it.
Some people have gone ahead to say that the resignation of the former Chief Justice Sophia Akufo from the Council of State, this particular matter could be one of the reasons. If that is the case, as you've said that we need to look at that, do we also then have to look at how the Council of State itself is also constituted?
So, it's speculation, right? We all don't know really why she resigned. But
we know she disagreed with the process.
I don't think that should also be the reason, though, that we take a second look at the Council of State and its composition. Individuals, whether it's a matter of conviction, principle, disagreements, are free to decide whether they want to be part of an institution or not. Unless there was something more egregious that maybe she observed that says maybe there's something not right with the way we've set up the Council of State, then yes. But if it's a matter of deep disagreement with a particular process or an institutional decision, and therefore her quote-unquote response to that deep disagreement is to resign, then I won't use that as the basis for rethinking how we put together a Council of State.
Okay, but it adds to the fourth with Article 146, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
But is Article 146 entrenched? Is one of those entrenched clauses?
I believe so.
I need to check. Yeah, I believe so.
I believe so. So it's one of those where if you have to amend, would have to go through a
referendum. But so how come we don't do a lot of referendum in Ghana?
We should be doing.
No, but if you don't, honestly, there's a lot of.
The one I have seen is the regional creation one.
Regional creation.
Oh, yes,
the regional creation. The 6 regions that were created.
Yeah.
The 6. That was the one that I witnessed, or referendum that I witnessed.
And it was it the people from the 6 regions who were surveyed to say that they wanted, or it was the whole?
I think petitions went.
Petitions went to who?
To the presidency. I remember I was in Accra and the regional president then was JB. I think it was part of those who sent the petition for.
You see, the reason why I'm saying that is in other jurisdictions, right? This is something that should be for the people, and then maybe the Jabo whatever would go and present what the people under him wants.
Yes.
Not what he wants.
No. He was part of the team from Western North.
I'm not saying he's not. All I'm saying is, if you are having a referendum, as it pertains in other jurisdictions, referendums or propositions are done easily up and down, yes or no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Say some by-election or some election going on, it shouldn't cost us any extra. Is it a matter of adding on to them?
Then we add it.
Yes. Okay, so that it will be proper representation of the people, transparency. So that we say that, okay, 60% of Ghanaians says they are for or they are against, based on the counting of the votes. We do things in a way, it looks like it excludes the same people who is going to protect. Look, Council of State, and maybe now it has been increased, right?
Has it?
Yeah, now because the new
regions, yes.
But it looks like still the appointments from the president is still higher than the representation, the people who are elected. Because some people are elected, the various regions, regional representation is through an election.
Yes.
So assuming that the president's nominees are always more than the people who were voted for, no matter what they do, in terms of the democracy, the numbers would always win. You know, we need to do things. I mean, we've done it for some time. I think we can look at it and say, okay, let's see how we can improve it to make it better. Because most people feel like Council of State has become a rubber stamp. Okay, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. So if the perception is there, maybe we should look at it and say, how do we fine-tune it and make it better? And this Supreme Court decision.
So can I come in with the composition of the Council of State? Now it says, the Council of State shall consist of the following persons appointed by the President in consultation with Parliament. One person who has previously...
No, I'm talking about the number, the number that is for... I'm not talking about the institutions.
Yeah, so for us to count, so Chief Justice, one person who has previously held the office of Chief of Defense Staff of the Armed Forces, one person who has previously held the office of the Inspector General of Police, President of the National House of Chiefs, one representative from each region. Okay, so it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4 appointment by the President. Then the election comes in. 11 other members appointed by the President. It adds to the 4, that is 15. The Council of State shall, okay. So that's 15 against 16. 16. So
if it's now that it's 16, I'll say maybe it is better.
So,
okay, but all I'm saying is we should let governance in this country be the views of the people, because it says by the people, for the people, not the selected few. And it looks like that's what we do, selected few to decide for the whole masses.
Okay.
And I have an issue with it, because in a lot of other areas that I have experienced, the masses are the ones who decide as to what they want change.
Is that how you want the removal of the Chief Justice to be done?
That one I asked the lawyer to explain it to me. I'm not the lawyer, so.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me bring you proper.
I only had my 2 points. What the lawyer has said. You know, situations like this, it's difficult to know what to say at this point. But then we also need to know, I'm yet to see the judgment. Did all the 7-member panel dismissed the case that it had no merit? Did all the 7?
Well, we just said Supreme Court dismissed it.
Unanimous.
Yes,
Unanimous. All the 7 agreed. I don't know what will be is it the end of the legal road for her?
Oh, but she herself, after the Abuja case, withdrew one of the cases from the Supreme Court. By that, it sort of tells you she doesn't want to pursue further.
And that ends the matter. So That's my 2 coins.
Okay. All right. Then let's go to the flooding. And I'll start with Kofi Capito on this one. Now, after the president released, or the government released some 350 million cedis, we've been told that the Brigadier General Foster Okaya-Boa, who is Director General Joint Operations Ghana Armed Forces, has been appointed to deal with the aftermath of the floods in Accra to ensure that we don't get here again. And Kofi, let me come to you. When the incident happened and with what we've done posted, does it bring you that confidence that this is the wake-up call that we needed and that we may not, I'm using may because we don't know what will happen tomorrow, we will not get back to where we were on Monday?
I see, we are behaving as if flooding has a structure or a uniform way of happening. It doesn't.
Yes.
So no matter how well we are prepared, we always be caught sometimes with our pants down. But the question is, how prepared are we with our emergency response? That is my worry.
Your emergency response?
The emergency response team.
Know how to prevent it?
You can't prevent flood. You can somehow minimize or reduce or put things in place. If not, the subway of New York will not get flooded. Okay, the tsunami that happened in, is it Japan or South Korea a few years back? The earthquake which is happening now, those are natural disasters. They would happen, but it depends on how prepared you are. If you know that you don't have to put impediments in the way so that the emergency response team can even get access. Yeah, behind you, Alajo. Is it Alajo here?
Yeah, Alajo, yes.
Right? Abeno. I mean, ask the emergency prepared unit how easy it was for them to get to the people. Okay. Other agencies, there might be even a collecting point or a meeting place for the people in the area to meet so that you can identify who is missing or who is alive. Okay, look. Flood, I'm not going to say we would be able to solve flooding.
No. It won't minimize the impact.
We can minimize the impact. And how do we minimize the impact? I'm happy that the president took that helicopter overview ride to see the impact, and he has been kind enough to say 300 million. But the question is, 300 million enough? Do we even know the people who are affected? As we haven't even done proper counting to know how many people were affected. And if in terms of disbursement or distribution, how are we going to do it? This is a country where you say, oh, I'm going to give free food to whatever people in a neighborhood. And you see regular people in a certain time also come to collect some. It's meant for a certain group of people. So all I'm worried is we need to look at how to get to the people when disaster happens. Because the disaster, what happened? You can't stop disaster. Maybe it might not be flood the next time. It might be something else. But you still need the emergency prepared groups to be able to access. I mean, things happen, the police are not even available to cordon off places that people don't have to go. I saw you people when you were doing your thing, that people who needed serious help, that I said, Adabaka, is it Odona? Adabaka is a place there.
Odona, yeah.
You know, that they said they had to go and bring a fisherman. It was a fisherman
to rescue.
Who was rescuing the people. The question is, even our fire service, our ambulances, our naval academy.
Not more.
How many of them knows how to swim? Or even divers who could use the water, the tank to dive underwater and go and search for people. That is what I'm worried about. Because it can happen to me. And if it happens, I wish somebody would be trained to be able to come and give me assistance. You know, we make a joke that as for white people, even when the cat is on the tree, they will call the rescue team to come and get the cat down for them. That is how we should be doing things in Ghana. The president's initial steps are applauded, but the question is, how far would it go? This morning you were shocked to see some woman's house here that you were showing on television. I mean, you can't give them everything, but they need the basics to survive. And the question is, if you give them the basics, where are they going to go? We don't even have shelters in Ghana.
No.
Okay, because like by now, it's on now.
Yeah.
Like by now, right? Some school, somewhere, some government building somewhere can be the place for people to go.
A church.
A church. A shelter. That is how it's done. But in this country, this woman, if she's not lucky, all these things, before she could shake Jack, people have come to steal them. Because she's in the open. All right? But it shouldn't be that way. And the issue I always have is, even if we decide to do something good for the people, we end up messing it up. When we're in this country that they say they fed some people with food.
Yeah, COVID-19.
During the COVID time.
Yeah.
The report came out that most people who claimed that they didn't get any. And the COVID food was not also meant for everybody. Okay? But we should be able to do things in a manner that the citizens will feel like somebody cared for me. Yes, this woman, she probably needs, how much is a student's mattress?
Yeah, it goes on for like, is this 500, 700?
500 or so. I
think so.
500. Do you know what I was thinking the other day? I said, oh, maybe I'll buy a few mattresses and then see that maybe I'll bring some to you, some of the other radio stations, so that you could do.
We have a campaign now, the flood victims relief support.
So that you could at least be able to say people who are
in need
of, I can guarantee you, people who don't need it will come and lie up here.
That is the attitude.
It is not the attitude. You see,
it's what.
Look, let me tell you, Kwame, we don't do respect. You know God.
Yeah.
Because God is smart. When he realized that Lucifer is going to be or influence the other angels, what did he do? He sacked them. Yeah. That is enforcement, not attitudinal change. And this attitudinal change that people talk about, I have a problem with it. Because even in your house, your children, you know how some children will slap you. They, or if you don't check him, a visitor will come and the child will slap the visitor. Because they don't know what is attitudinal change. It is enforcement. And time has come. We should enforce these things. If you are there to make sure that, let's say, a police officer, let's say the military, let's say any government institutions that are made to be in charge. It's funny, you know, and you say people, look, when you watch, you are talking about Manchester United, when you watch EPL in the stadium, they are called stewards.
Yeah.
They are not even police. Bro, they put their hands at their back. they turn into the crowd.
They don't watch the
They don't
football.
even watch the match. That is discipline. Another, Ghana has a protocol. Go, you see a policeman, go! You can't show that. You get my point? This is where we need to bring the country to, that we have standards. Let's go by the standards. Let's not do mediocrity anymore. Okay, because other people are going to space, going to live there, not just a visit. Now they are planning to go and live there. So the question is, what are we doing? Just the basic. Flood has come. You all know the flood came. And they are talking about maybe there's going to be more. This Alajo Gata, this big one, it was a problem until somehow we fixed that Alajo Gata. It has sustained for some years. And I think it couldn't hold the water this time with the floods, right?
It overflowed.
Yeah, so now, what did we do so that we corrected it for years? So let's go back and see. Was it just this week? I was on one of the television stations with a retired hydro director who is an engineer. And he says he is part of the team who did the thing for this Odor dredging thing that we have. There's a name for it.
The Garrett.
Garrett. Retired man, he even had strokes, but he came on set to come and he said they are there. Nobody calls them. But he is a member of the team that put it together. He says there are places that we need to reduce the level of wherever that we need. And he was telling me, and I was like, wow. Let's use them. Because I asked him, the assemblies, they have the hydro people attached to the assemblies. Yes, every assembly has one.
The hydro?
Yeah, every assembly has one.
Okay.
And I asked him, he said, Mr. Capito, now, he said when he was there, they trained them. You go through PWD, you go through the whole system before you can become in charge of an assembly. He says now, they come from university, no experience, they put them there. We are doing things wrongly.
Okay.
We can do better. And the question is, we have what it takes to do it better.
Okay, all right. Yeah, Prof.
I think water has now become, it's not supposed to be an enemy.
No, water
to human life. But in Ghana, that's the case. When you see clouds formation, you are not at peace. I'm sure it's become one of the stresses we have in our country now. Go and check the BP level of people when you see clouds. You want to go back home. You want to suspend everything you are doing to ensure that you arrive home safely. So it's not an easy task that we have. But let's go back to what the president of the Institute of Engineers plainly said, that this whole issue that we are talking about, Ghana, we have done something wrong for the past over 30 to 40 years. Something wrong. Wetlands, streams, floodplains, and you also look at the natural drainage corridors.
Reservations that should be allowed.
That absorb and convey excess water. Today, we have encroached all, built upon all. So water naturally will create an alternative pathways. And when it happens, it will come into your house. It will come into your schools, your hospitals, your businesses. The president, after his tour, for me, at that hour when he flew, if you check, the weather wasn't that good for me. It flew. When he made that statement that it is about illegal structures and it's about climate change conditions, two statements made by our president. Climate change, was talking about the scale of the damage and the rainfall. Climate change conditions, the legal structures that we have. Then let's subject these conversations into proper context. Is it about planning failures? Is it about governance? Is it about, indeed, climate change conditions? So when I listen to the three issues mentioned, what normally would throw me off is when I hear comments from some of these political commentators. In fact, it rather makes me more angry. We start the blame game. When we are talking about lives and death, we start the blame game. You know, Ghanaians, we gave mandate to this administration to protect lives and property. Today, what is happening? We are losing lives. Forget about property. So if you're losing lives, we are losing property, then what are we governing for? What are we doing? The blame game must stop. And I was worried at a point when I heard some of the commentaries, the comments. Today, after 18 months or so in administration, if we are still blaming past administrations and we are not fixing the problems, why are we calling for resetting agendas? Why? Resetting what? Resetting what? An administration was voted, was axed because of probably non-performance. Today, you are in charge. In fact, 3 days when people were counting their cost, a national Thanksgiving was held. The ironic part of the whole thing, we saw people dancing.
Jubilating.
So if we have a program fixed, planned for, and we had this issue flood in our country, and the program is still fixed, can't we say that we can suspend that program, take time to visit all the victims? So when those visitors, they see you on TV dancing, praising God at this stage, for what? The calamity, I mean, the issues have been more, but now we had that number. Is that what we are dancing for? I was shocked. But it's not ironic to see a country that decided to cancel a contract months before your major rainy season. And you don't make any alternative arrangements, substitute to take over. Yet you cancel a waste management contract. You don't make any alternative. We don't have a problem if you want to cancel.
They're giving it back to him.
When?
Aftermath. They're giving it back to him.
Are we serious as a country? No wonder we can dance. A flood, and people have lost their life. In fact, if you watch the videos, and Kojo, I'm sure you've seen, the viewers will see, the number of cars found in the drain, the number of lives lost. You want to have a national Thanksgiving service and dance? Kojo, I think I'll rest my case here.
The devastation was serious. Doc, let me bring you in here. Now, when disasters like this happen, we would say never again. We'll say all the beautiful things, but they will happen again. What must change so that we change our story?
You know, I'm also at a loss in terms of what really must change, because we've had these conversations over and over and over again.
But when we do they change?
Maybe some aspects of it change, but then other aspects continue to persist. Because if I think back even to my childhood days as a primary school pupil at Bishop Hours, right? Whenever it rained, you would every so often hear stories, and you knew the suspect areas, right? And 40-something years later, it's still the same suspect areas with new areas becoming more vulnerable to these things.
Which means we are not improving.
No. Which means that there's, yes, so either we are not improving, or the things that we've put in place, right, we are not ensuring that they work. So this is me years ago having a conversation with some friends, and I'm talking about, maybe if we had zoning units and if we had zoning laws, and a good friend says, do you know where I did my national service way back in the 90s? I said, no. She said, I did my national service in the zoning unit. So we do have, we do have it. I was like, oh, wow. So it's not, for me, again, a lack of plans, lack of laws, lack of regulations. I think all of those things are there. And so the question then becomes, for me, regulatory compliance and enforcement. And even if, and I do agree that there's also something happening, there's climate change issues, all of that. So how do we situate even our ability to enforce the plans, the rules, the regulations we've put in place, knowing that we are also dealing with other natural phenomena that is going on, or other issues that are happening even globally in terms of climate change. My brother here, or maybe I should say my uncle if I look at his gray hair, right? But he also mentioned about disaster preparedness, right? So even in a place like the US where we would suffer, hurricanes, tornadoes, you would see that in the lead up to that, there's a lot of effort going into preparedness, because natural disasters you can't stop.
Yes.
It is how you minimize the impact of natural disasters and how you prepare and anticipate, and the things you put in place to ensure that when they do happen, that you are not overwhelmed by it. Because some of the things...
But for us, when the Meteo announced that we're going to have heavy rains this year, there was little you saw in terms of preparing for the rainfall.
And maybe heavy rains was relative, so we didn't anticipate that, heavy rains was really going to be heavy.
But when
rains.
the Meteo is a governmental agency.
Yeah.
When they gave that, the other governmental agency that is also responsible for minimizing disaster should kick in and say, what are we doing?
Yeah. So
because the president last year gave the warning that buildings in waterways should be collapsed.
Yeah.
They did. We reported on I think about 2 of them, and that's it. We didn't see it.
So that's where coordination also becomes important, because again, if I use the US as an example, once the National Weather Station starts giving those indications, you would see
the cities.
It triggers. Yes, the cities, the counties. The states,
they also come.
Other organizations, if let's say snow is predicted, my university would immediately say, due to anticipated inclement weather, the university is closed tomorrow. So maybe that's the other thing that we should start paying more attention to, that once heavy rainfall is predicted, we trigger other processes where other institutions also kick in to say, here's how we need to prepare for this impending rainfall that we're expecting.
I was surprised that I didn't hear any state of emergency declared. That we were told that if you don't have anything to do, don't go.
Don't go out. Yeah.
I mean, when the state declares an emergency, that means everybody stay where you are. Simple.
So you think a state of emergency should have been declared?
It should have been declared. When we realized that we were overwhelmed, because the water started early in the morning.
Yeah, early in the morning, yes.
And it continued. It wasn't letting out. And apparently, another excuse or reason given is we got more than we anticipated.
Anyway, interesting. Let me bring you in here. You know, I don't like to be boxed in. I remember when I was in the university, we had some Ford buses. When I'm at the back, and it occurs to me that, hey, where you are boxed in, I'll start flaring up and I would want to get off the bus. No matter
you have a phobia?
I think so, baby. Now, last Monday, when we were reporting, we got to hear that Takrady, the road from Accra to Kaswa, is off. You couldn't go, you couldn't come.
Yeah.
That of Kumasi, you couldn't go, you couldn't come. The one to Eburi, there was only one lane working. So virtually, because that place, even though when you have all the lanes working, there's heavy traffic. How much more only one? So virtually blocked. Motorway, same. It occurred to me that we are in a dangerous situation. If it rains for continuous 2 days, we will be found wanting seriously. I mean, how does that bring the flood to you, and what do you expect to happen so that this does not become our situation? Because now as I sit here, in fact, if I could, but for work, I would go and live in a hunter in Agunan. Yeah, because to be boxed in a place where I cannot run away anywhere, that's dangerous.
Kojo, we have failed.
We have failed, yeah.
We have failed, and I disagree vehemently with Prof. Boidi when he talks about we shouldn't do blame game, and eventually he started blaming. Understand? Because one of the bedrocks of this constitutional democracy is accountability. And when you talk about accountability, it starts with what? Blaming. You understand? Except that here what we do is that we just do talk blaming. We don't do proper blaming, which should end in ending accountability. If people have to be imprisoned, they ought to be imprisoned. Because you see, and I think I agree with when it comes to flood, we can only mitigate. No matter what, you can only mitigate. You understand? But you must deliberately take efforts at mitigating. You understand? And in my opinion, we've simply not done that. And that's why there ought to be blame. There ought to be serious blame. Because you see, there's a story. I also grew up in Accra. I'm a Kumasi born, but I grew up in Accra. I went to, when you mentioned Bishop Owens, I went to St. Anthony's.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Latin Koshi boy. Okay. Yeah. And so we've seen flooding. I remember I also went to Achimota School. So I'm a proper Accra boy. I recall the 95 flooding. I was coming home from midterm, and it was a struggle. In fact, that day I thought I was going to be swept away at around Alajo. Because when it rained in Accra, Alajo all the way to Seko, forget it. President Ford came and they did a drink there, and then that Alajo, apart from this one, I don't recall Alajo flooding. And so yes, and so when a call is made that says that because of the climate change, the volumes were a lot. Really, the fact that I'm seeing that after President Ford, I'd never seen Alajo flooding until now. Then we've had, I think when President Ford became President 2001 or 2002, there was also massive flooding. And then the almighty 2015 one. Yeah. Now what that 2015 one did was to then generate a call for a radical change in system. Understand? And that was the beginning of Garrett. That was the beginning of Garrett. You understand? Yeah. Okay, so let's collaborate with what's it called? World Bank. Let's get some funding. Let's use this funding to.
So I'm told this is 95.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah.
And
this is where?
And I remember the 95 one because when I was in the trust coming.
What's the change?
I'm coming. No, a lot. I'm saying that.
That's the president there.
So after the 202 storm drain, these levels reduced. Especially in Alajo. If you call Alajo, I'm saying I was born in Kumasi. I'm a Accra boy. Went to St. Anthony's, went to Achimota. Yeah, I understand. I remember the 95 one because when I was coming, I like sports. It's Jordan, Michael Jordan. I just come back and I think he led the Chicago Bulls. Yeah. So I think the 95. I recall that vividly. And I was around the Alajo area. We were almost swept away. Now after the 2015, we did Garrett. we went through the processes. Garrett had a plan. We got approval in 2019. Garrett was initially 200 million. We got it extended to 150. I think we've spent about 135 million. Garrett, and you call, I think that you were the host. You know that famous video when Anado was in his black sheets, and they had that beautiful plan. You know, we'll be fishing here, we'll be the hotels will be here. You recall? Yeah. And then, in spite of $135 million having been spent, we have a situation where, in terms of the structures, engineering structures, and in terms of waste management, it's even worse. And it's worse because when you go into what Garrett was expended for, it was not spent for what it was meant to be spent for. About 64 million was diverted into COVID funds.
But that was based on a request to the World Bank. The report.
Listen. So after all the funds that we were granted, all the COVID funds that we were granted, and where you've made plans. I think we all agree here that one of the fundamental problems we have is a lack of commitment to program and plans. It's like we just do things to represent things. Although you've had the plan that, listen, we have a flooding issue in Accra, in Greater Accra region. So we've gone and we've sourced some funds. The funds are meant for a particular purpose. Understand? And we are so. Please let me down on this. The fact that World Bank agreed to a diverting of those funds, you understand? Of those funds does not justify replacing it. Does not justify the 64 million bit that was meant to prevent these issues.
But are you saying that if World Bank was not satisfied with how far we had utilized the funds, they will still have made further disbursement like they did?
So listen, we should understand, and that once funds come into your hands, they are property. And that 150 that they approved, they have not disbursed. I'm saying that we have 2 million, 150 more, but what we have spent is not even up to the 200 million. What we have spent out of today is about $135 million. It's not even up to the 200 million. You understand? So, it's an agreement. And my brother Budi, he is a finance guy. He has actually done proper finance as an intermediation. So that sometimes they are condition present, they are condition to be met, and once you met, the point is, we went for funds from World Bank to prevent these problems that we are being faced, that has happened. And we diverted a bit to, what's it called? COVID.
But are you saying that it was done on the in terms of the project?
What has happened? Yeah. What has happened? In fact, that beautiful video, Nanado in his black shades, and the guy happily. Let me say.
The process.
Haven't they done? Listen. What has happened? Are they the waste management issue? In fact, I don't want to use certain words here. But listen, let's be factual. What has happened? What has happened?
The report is there.
And what report? You see, sometimes you also don't have eyes. Ghana.
So you don't believe that.
What is talking about the Nado's thing?
Ghana.
It's funny.
Okay. I can't talk about
Ike Champo.
I'm told my time is up.
Listen. Ike Champo. As far back as when he was the president of Ghana.
Yeah.
You know the Kole Lagoon.
Yeah.
That whole place.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be dredged, make it a proper lake.
Yeah.
The same thing we are going to put this here.
So come and talk.
He brought a company called Marine Construction.
Yeah.
Marine Construction to come and start that dredging. A champion style. What has happened?
Yes, so it's a call for a forensic audit. And he said, President Mama, let's do proper blame game, not blame talk. Let's audit of how the guide monies were expended.
Yeah.
And if anybody, you understand?
But
then that person should be prosecuted. So there'll be blame games.
Right, I hear.
There will be serious blame games.
Because of time, let's say, because the report is out there. Maybe Apia will get it. Lawyer Apia.
There's going to be blame games. I was
United Party Kofi Capital is the CEO of Consumer Protection Agency. Dr. John Osai Kwapon is Director of Quality Assurance and Institutional Effectiveness at the Ashesi University and a fellow with CDD Ghana, and Professor Isaac Bwedi is Dean of Accounting and Finance Faculty of EPSA. Well, we'll take a break here. We'll bring you much more. But own your dream property in one of Tema's fastest growing prime locations today. At Nestor's Homes, we offer beautifully designed studio, 1, 2, 3, and 4 bedroom luxury homes crafted for modern living, comfort, and long-term value. Strategically located at Tema Community 26, just behind the Palace Mall. Our gated community gives you a serene and secure environment, easy access to major roads and key business areas, close proximity to schools, hospitals, malls, and essential social amenities. We say reserve your unit today with just 10% deposit and enjoy flexible payment plans and mortgage options. Call us now on 0531 01 4440 or 0531 01 4447 to book a viewing or visit www.nestes.com. We'll take a break here. I'll be back with more. Please do stay.
For the American defense to deal with, and that's another shot! They scored! A wonderful volley!
The stadium is live! The fans are roaring and the excitement has officially kicked off. It's goal rush season at Akufo-Addo. This World Cup season, the match isn't just on the pitch, it's happening right in your home. Build your home stadium with world-class cinematic TVs, powerful sound bars, and home theaters, high-power speakers, laptops, tablets, and projectors for the ultimate streaming. Akufo-Addo is delivering unbeatable deals, not just discount, but a chance to win 100-inch 4K smart TVs, mobile phones, laptops, and many more. Just purchase items 1,000 Ghana cedis and above, and automatically enter the raffle draw. Shop online at CompuGhana.com. Call on 0302 752020. Go Rush season, the ultimate football experience, only at Akufo-Addo.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the Eco Park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown cranes, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It's been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Through every stage of life, some things simply stay with us. The spirit of never giving up. A throwback to a bygone era. Love was service. The silent statement of love. A forceful gesture that deepens bonds, balancing work and life. Every drop refreshes, every sip hydrates, just as it should. I am awake, one for life. Drink water, drink awake. Supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert
Cadbury hot chocolate, crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
Well, the rain swept Accra and it came with it a lot of, impact and devastation. Now that devastation, because this is water, it creates an enabling environment for mosquitoes. And once mosquitoes thrive, what happens? Malaria comes next. And that's why this next conversation is very, very important. Now, fighting the bite, human activities, and the changing landscape of mosquito-borne diseases in Africa is a topic that Professor Yao Asare Afrani of the Department of Medical Microbiology, University of Ghana Medical School, delivered his inaugural lecture on. And it came at a very good time, right? As I told you, the rains came on Monday. It came with it, quite a devastation. And that creates a very conducive environment for mosquitoes to thrive. And that's why it's important that we have this conversation. Prof, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us.
And thank you also for having me.
Okay. Now, I'm sure you saw what happened on Monday.
Yes, I did.
When you saw it, what was the first thing that came to mind?
That people are going to suffer, people are going to lose property, lives are going to be lost. But most importantly, as a vector biologist, somebody who is interested, and I've been working on malaria for many years, what came to my mind is that now we've been seeing the rain coming in from May, June, there was some flooding early June, and we were getting more mosquitoes. So the almost 24 hours of rain that came on Monday is going to increase the density or the number of mosquitoes that are available, the abundance of mosquitoes. And that could lead to mosquito-borne diseases, in particular malaria and dengue fever.
Yes. Mosquitoes have been biting me over the past few days. Is there anything I could do to prevent malaria or dengue fever?
Well, yes. There's a lot of things that you could do. Okay. Right now, the Ghana Malaria Elimination Program is distributing some bed nets to people to sleep under. This is very protective.
Even in my room, I can't deal. Mosquitoes are not there.
They are not there.
But when I'm outside, and sometimes I spend some time outside before I get into the room.
Very good. So that is the biggest problem.
Yes, yes.
And that is what I talked about during my inaugural lecture, that human activities or negligence is leading to breeding of mosquitoes in our communities, and we need to do something about it. So right now, water has collected in every part of Accra because of this rains that came on Monday, and mosquitoes are breeding everywhere. If you walk around houses, yesterday there was no rain, and my team and I happened to walk around to look for where we can see mosquitoes breeding and then see to destroy those habitats. And we found a lot. Okay, so mosquitoes have started to breed.
You are destroying the habitats?
Yeah, so what we can around our university, yes. What we can do it. And so now is a time for us to mobilize as a nation, as a city of Accra, to make sure that the water doesn't stay. The water should drain, otherwise mosquitoes are going to breed.
How do we do that? We've seen the water in some of the homes, even how many days? 4 days after the rains.
Yes, but we have to find a way to drain them. We do have drains, but they are blocked. So we get rid of the drains. The problem about desilting the drains is that after desilting, we leave the debris just close to the gutter again.
Yes.
And then the water comes again and wash it back. I don't know why we do that. But if there can be deliberate attempt to get desilt all the drains around our homes, our houses, our communities, in the communities that we live in, and then get rid of all those debris so that the water flows in the gutters, we shall be free of mosquitoes. Those are the things that are making mosquitoes breed. They don't breed on top of trees. They breed on the ground in the waters that are collecting around our homes.
Okay, but something interesting you said, you were destroying the habitats of the mosquitoes.
Yes.
How can we all do it so that we all join? Wherever you see it, you can also destroy it. So
these waters that are collecting in our neighborhoods, some of them are in choked gutters. If we can desilt it, you see that they start flowing.
Okay.
Yes.
So that is what you do.
That is what we're trying to do. Also, waters have collected in buckets, abandoned buckets, tins that are also in the neighborhood. We're turning them and then taking some of those that are potable into dustbins. Because those waters that collect, that is what breed the mosquito, the type of mosquito that transmit dengue fever. About almost 2 years ago, the Ghana Health Service reported about outbreaks of dengue fever.
Yes.
I don't know what has gone, but all of a sudden, nobody talks about them anymore. And we've forgotten it. There are a lot of cases that are going on that we don't know. Unfortunately, our health system does not have the capacity to diagnose them. And we still take them as malaria. And that is the most dangerous aspect of it. And so deaths that are due to dengue fever are being attributed to malaria. And this is what we need to guard against. It is also killing people. Malaria is killing people. Dengue fever is killing people. And all these are being bred in the mosquitoes that transmit dengue breed in containers. So you have all sorts of containers that have been left within our neighborhoods, car ties and all that. So if we can get rid of all of them, then that is how we can get rid of this disease. So my team actually went out to collect the larvae of the mosquitoes for our own research work that we are doing. But we saw that there was a lot. So all that we have to do is to try to get rid of the waters in those cans and then take them into a dustbin.
So let's get back to your inaugural lecture.
Okay.
What was the focus?
What was what?
The focus of the lecture.
The focus was on how human activities are contributing to the breeding of mosquitoes within our neighborhoods. And so there are a lot of it. One is due to agriculture. I know you know that there are some vegetable farms even within cities. And this gives livelihood to people, so they don't have to be destroyed. They give livelihood. They also provide food security within the cities. But unfortunately, these breeding habitats employ informal irrigation, and those are creating opportunities for mosquitoes to breed.
So you're saying that there are stagnant waters on these farms?
Yes. Yeah, the water they use for the irrigation actually comes from the ground. They seep from the ground. These are low-lying areas where the water table is very high. And so when the farmers dig a little bit into the soil, the water seeps from the ground for them to use for irrigation. They just use watering cans to fetch them and then irrigate their crops.
So this isn't like the wells we used to have?
No.
These are just some small...
They are called dugout wells. They are called dugout wells. That causes that. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So those are some of the things that we do as humans. Another one is the fact that, which I've talked about, in our neighborhoods, if you go to any community, you find abandoned cans, tins, empty buckets that are just lying there, and it collects water, and mosquitoes breed in those ones. Okay, mosquitoes breed in all this. Whatever you are showing here right now is what I'm talking about, that water is collecting in containers and mosquitoes breed in them. They are called Aedes mosquitoes. Those are the black and white mosquitoes. They bite during the day, and they are the ones that transmit dengue. They can also transmit yellow fever if the virus becomes available. The virus is not always available. The virus that causes yellow fever.
So are these all we do as humans farming and living.
And then, no, there's a lot of them that I talked about. Also, we are strengthening the mosquitoes to be very resilient in the indiscriminate use of insecticides to kill them. We are always using it, whether they are there or not, and they come to meet the lower dose of the insecticide. So I'm talking about the use of aerosol sprays. There are tens of them, dozens of them that are being sold in Ghana, which you are aware. Others are also the coils that we use to kill them. I don't know if you've ever seen that someone is burning a coil, but there's a mosquito sitting on it looking at how it is being burnt. you understand? So that is, it makes them very resilient. We call it resistance to the insecticide that is being used for to control them. And that is very dangerous. In short time in Accra here, in many parts of Ghana, if you use the aerosol sprays on the mosquitoes, after a few minutes, they come back again. And this is because they become resilient over time.
So if that is the case, then what we are saying is that the farmers should not dig out these wells?
No. I didn't say that. I'm saying that they create opportunities.
So what do we do?
So, sorry. What we need to do is to make sure that we put in place measures for them to always allow the water to be flowing. Okay, and mosquitoes don't breed in rivers or flowing waters. So once they flow, then the breeding will not happen. So they should constantly be allowing the water to flow. If you have seen the dugout wells, they dig it so big, and sometimes they also try to allow it to flow to the river, the beds. If they do that, it stops the breeding completely. I've been to many of these farms within Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi, and I've seen what they are doing. Many years ago also, I happened to be in Dakar, Senegal, and I saw that they are also having the same issue. It's also in Bouaké, in Côte d'Ivoire. But what people do is they put in this small fish, and then the fish feeds on the mosquitoes. The mosquitoes that are breeding in the water, the larvae.
Okay. So you're saying that the water I've collected in my barrels in the home is a perfect breeding ground?
Yes, it is. And so we should just get rid of them, all of them. Also, it may be in your here that we have air conditions all over.
Yeah.
And the air conditions, there's some water outlet.
Yes.
And then because we don't want water to spill everywhere, we put a container to get the water, collect the water, and then So all those ones, if you check it, you find a larvae of the mosquitoes breeding in it. We have to continuously, every day, get rid of them. We have to continuously get rid of them. These are some of the things that I go to offices and tell people, get rid of them, and I show them how the mosquitoes are breeding in it.
Are they the small things we see?
Yes, and then they will be moving, like small maggots. Yes. They are the larvae of the mosquitoes. I'm sure you have seen them.
I've seen them.
Yeah, so
I was thinking there was something else.
No, they will come to bite us when they become adult mosquitoes.
Oh, wow. Okay, I see them and I get scared. I'm like, what is this? But I didn't think that they were mosquitoes.
They are mosquitoes. They are mosquitoes. So that is what we need to get rid of. Yeah.
So if a farmer digs that well,
the dugout wells,
and then he doesn't have a nearby river.
Yes.
And then he creates a channel.
Yes.
The water could probably finish at a time. Is there any alternative way of dealing with it? Can they cover them or what?
Yes, if they cover them also, that will be very wonderful because the mosquitoes need to breed in open and sunlit, water bodies. It's open and then the sun shines on it, and then the temperature increases. That's what they like. So if they can cover it. I've been to some farms elsewhere within the Greater Accra region around Adan area, and I see that they use wells that they can cover. If you check it, there's no mosquito. Okay, so that is some of the things that we tell people. If it is possible to cover it, cover it. Yeah, the irrigation is important. The vegetables they produce is important for you and I to consume within the city. Studies by the Institute of Water Management says that over 90% of the vegetables that we consume within Accra comes from within Accra. Yes, and so this is important, and it gives livelihood to people. You can't just destroy them like that.
Okay, interesting point there. So when you look at the floods that we've seen,
yes,
your prediction is that we probably should prepare for an outbreak.
Yes, we have to. We have to. Already, as I said, the Ghana Health Service is distributing some bed nets through schools. They give it to school children right now, and I think they started not long ago, a few weeks back. And so they were preparing for the rains that were supposed to come. But now we have an enhanced El Nino, a phenomenon that leads to a lot of water falling from the skies. And therefore, more needs to be done. It's not only the bed nets, but as you said, before you go to your room to sleep under the bed net, the mosquitoes meet you outside.
Yes, yes, yes.
And when you sit outside for any conversation, they meet you there to bite you. And therefore, it is very important that we also put in place measures such as larval source management. This is how we destroy all the environmental management to destroy all the water bodies around us. I know that through the Ghana Malaria Elimination Program, they have also, they are using Zoom Lion. They have a contract where they go out there and control the larvae of mosquitoes, destroy some of the habitats. But it doesn't cover everywhere. But at this time, it's an emergency. And so we should try our best to see how we can mobilize many people to destroy the habitats. I'm happy that you are showing where the mosquitoes are breeding on the TV. So on the far right is the dugout wells that I'm talking about. Okay. So if you can put something to cover it, then that is how mosquitoes will not breed. To the left is a drainage ditch. This is very common in our communities. If we can allow the water to drain somehow, then there will not be any breeding of mosquitoes. The middle one is a paddle that collects in many communities. Depending on where you stay, this is very common. We walk around this every day. This is where we collect mosquitoes. This is where the mosquitoes are breeding. The immature stages breed in waters like this, and then the adults will fly into our homes to bite us. And these are also photos of the cans and the tins that I'm talking about. This is very common in our communities. So see the car ties to the left.
Yes.
Yeah. This is not taken from anywhere. It's taken from Accra here. These are discarded cans, and empty to the next one, the second to the left is discarded container. This is
the
tomato paste. Yeah. The person finished using it and threw it away. But you see the water is has collected in it, and then they are going to breed mosquitoes. Okay. The drum, we have all this within our communities, clay pots that we leave when we finish using them for growing flowers. All this leads to mosquitoes breeding in their community, and this is what I'm talking about. If we can destroy all this, then what it means is that we are getting rid of mosquitoes, and we don't have to get into our rooms to meet them. Outside there, they would all be gone.
So these small water bodies, like dugout wells, is there no spray we can spray on it? Because in the pictures I saw some people spraying.
Yes. So that is what I'm saying, that the Ghana Health Service, through the Ghana Malaria Elimination Program, has contracted Zoom Lion to do. And they are doing it in some districts. So they are piloting it. It is very effective.
When you spray the water bodies, it kills?
Yes, it kills the larvae that is breeding in there. They are not using insecticide. They are using a formulation that is made from bacteria. Mosquitoes feed on bacteria, and this bacteria has been poisoned for them. And so when they eat it, they die after a day or two. And this is what they are using. So it's not chemical at all. That would end up in our rivers to kill fishes. It is bacteria formulation. And it doesn't kill most of the flora or the organisms that are in the water. It is targeting mosquitoes that eat them. Yeah, so this is very effective.
And people should not be worried that we're going to use the same water to water crops for them.
No. This one is not poisonous at all. Yes. And what I'm appealing is that now it's an emergency. it should not be only for piloting at this time. It's been there for almost more than a year, 2 years or so. Okay. And so they should extend it to everywhere within the cities. Not only also in the cities. There's flooding all over Ghana. We saw in some Western region, Central region in Cape Coast. There's a lot of flooding. As you move up north from Cape Coast going to the Kumasi Road, lots of flooding along the ascent towns and villages around there. All these places, there will be mosquitoes breeding. And so it's an emergency and we should treat it as that.
Okay. All right. So that is what should. So if that's the case, then we can be spraying on the water bodies that are stuck in the homes in Accra after the floods, right?
Yes, we can. Not with insecticide, but with a formulation.
With the formulation.
Yes, that I'm talking about.
But it's also interesting to hear that the sprays we use.
Yes.
The mosquitoes are becoming
resistant to them. Okay, thank you. Because we've been using it so much. We've been using it a lot, the insecticide a lot. And so that is why they've become resilient or resistant to it. So now, I'm sure that listeners here would agree with me that sometimes you spray the room. After 10 minutes, you come back, 10, 15 minutes, you come back into the room. And the mosquitoes are gone. You're happy about it. But only give them like at most 1 hour. They come back. It's not new mosquitoes. The mosquitoes got knocked down. And so they get up again and start biting because now they have become resistant to it. Okay. The insecticide we use knocked them down. This is due to the fact that we've been using it so much. Some houses they spray every day. Every day they have to spray. And so the mosquitoes also have developed resistance to this. Too much exposure to the insecticide. It kills.
The use should be managed.
Yes, thank you. The use should be managed. Yeah, they should be managed. In the farms where we have farmers also using pesticides on mosquitoes, on pests. So they use pesticide on the pest. But some of them washes into the breeding habitat from these dugout wells that I'm talking about. And mosquitoes are breeding there. So some of them develop their resistance from those habitats in the farms, if you get what I mean. Okay. Yeah, because they also get exposed to the pesticides. They are almost the same chemicals. They have the same chemical formulas. And so whatever is used in the homes can also be used in agriculture. And mosquitoes develop resistance to this.
So it means that in Africa we cannot deal with mosquitoes at all because we're told in some of our jurisdictions there's nothing like malaria.
Yes.
So in Africa we cannot do away with them at all, just like we don't have them in other places.
No, we can. We can. It is possible.
So how do we do it? Over the years, for a long time we have not been able to do. How do we get there?
You see, please. When I was waiting to come in here, I saw videos from 1995 when the then president of Ghana, Jerry John Rawlings, the late Jerry John Rawlings, was moving through the waters, the flooding that happened in Accra at that time. I think in 2002 also there was flooding in Accra. There has been yearly flooding in Accra, and now we are also seeing flooding in Accra. The story is the same. So we are not doing much to get rid of water bodies around us. And that is why mosquitoes persist. If we make deliberate efforts to get rid of mosquitoes, we can do that. There are examples, and I talked about some of this in my inaugural lecture. In Brazil, they got 2 years, they got rid of mosquitoes. They got rid of mosquitoes. 2 years. Environmental management only, not spraying. Okay, they got rid of our mosquitoes called Anopheles gambiae. Got into Brazil, and they spread so much, and they were transmitting malaria. Please, this is something that is not private to only me. It's on the internet, it can be read. And they got rid of mosquitoes, okay? New York, many years ago, mosquitoes was a problem. Florida, mosquitoes was a problem to Americans, but they got rid of all of them. And that is why we don't have malaria in those areas.
So there are examples.
There are examples, a lot of examples.
Why can we not do it? That over the years, we've been battling, people die so much.
Yes.
So many people die from malaria.
Yes, that is the problem. If we make deliberate efforts, we can get rid of them. In Africa, let's say Algeria has gotten malaria certified by the WHO that they have eliminated malaria, but that is more like a desert community, okay? But let's go to Cabo Verde. They have also been able to eliminate malaria, but that is an island also. But
Cabo Verde?
Yes, yes. And I think, is it today or tomorrow?
They are playing Argentina.
They are playing Argentina. Yeah. Very good. They don't have
be able to eliminate Argentina too.
Yeah, I hope so. I've been an African country. The thing is that they got rid of mosquitoes that are transmitting the mosquito, the disease. They treated people who may have malaria parasites. And right now, in 2023, they have been designated as having eliminated malaria. They are an African country. Although people say that because it's an island, that was easier. Yes, it's true, because if we get rid of mosquitoes in Ghana, there will be some coming from Ivory Coast, from Burkina Faso, and Togo also. Yeah, but the fact that it was possible for a country like that to eliminate malaria, then we can also control it, bring it down to a level where the transmission will go down and the deaths will reduce.
Why are we not able to do it?
Yes, we'll be able to control them.
Why are we not able to do it?
Yeah, because we've not really put in an effort to control them. How much are we doing to control them?
All right. Prof, what will be your final remarks just before we wrap up?
Well, my final words are that it's very unfortunate for what has happened. This is a natural issue, natural disaster that has happened to us as a country, where the amount of rainfall that came last Monday has not been historically recorded in Ghana before. And so that is what nature does. We saw that in Venezuela, they also had an earthquake there around the same time. But unfortunately, in Ghana, this flooding that has come in, if we can do something about it so that mosquito-borne diseases does not persist. We can get rid of all the water that has collected around our houses, silt our gutters, make sure that we don't have containers that we just shown you on the TV, not collecting water for mosquitoes to breed and to transmit dengue fever and malaria to us. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much too, Prof. Yao Asare Afrani, Department of Medical Microbiology, the University of Ghana. Thank you so much for coming up.
Thank you also for having me.
Let me say good morning to you, Maxwell Apia Abacha, Citizen Abacha in Takrade. You're watching us this morning. Good morning to you, as well as my friend Samuel Dumson in Aketenche. Well, now this July, Ghana will host global energy leaders and experts at the Ghana International Petroleum Conference, GIPCON 2026, on the theme, Building a Resilient Downstream, Policy, Innovation, and Investment for Growth. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, President of Ghana, will be the distinguished guest of honor. Speakers will include Honorable Dr. John Abdullahi Jenapo, Minister for Energy and Green Transition, Mr. Godwin Kojo Tamaklo, CEO of National Petroleum Authority, NPA, Dr. Patrick Ofori, CEO of Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, and Dr. Riverson Opong, CEO of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies. Now, date is July 16 to 17, 2026, 8 a.m. each day at the Palms Convention Center, La Palm, Royal Beach Hotel. Now, the event will be climaxed with the Downstream Awards and Gala Night happening on the July 18 at 6 p.m. at Kempinski Gold Coast Hotel, Accra. You can register now at www.gipcon.com. Call 0558-223678. 0558-223678. That's it. We'll take a break here. We'll return. When we return, we'll have much more for you here on the show. Still, we'll be talking about the flooding and, land management here on the show. So stay on.
Cadbury hot chocolate. Crafted from cocoa, milk, and sugar. Creamy, chocolatey, frothy goodness, rich taste, so satisfying.
Cadbury goodness, the treats you deserve every day.
Hi, now let me share my wildlife experience with you at Safari Valley Eco Park.
Welcome to Safari Valley Eco Park.
Our electric shuttle pulled up, and in no time, our tour began. We were surrounded by wildlife from the moment we entered the eco park. We were greeted by experienced tour guides who took us through orientation and how to better enjoy the experience. Watch these animals roam freely in their natural habitat undisturbed by our presence. We saw zebras, sable antelope, brown crane, mara, silky chicken, nyalas, Shetland ponies, and so many animals I just couldn't keep up. Our tour guides taught us so much about the wildlife, their behavior, and how to interact with them. I even fed them. We also went fishing on a man-made canal. Then we took a break to have lunch in this serene environment. All this amazing experience for this price for adults, this price for teenagers. It's a bargain. As the sun began to set, it was time to go back home, but not before dinner by the campfire. It has been a thrill of a lifetime, and I can't wait till my next visit.
Safari Valley Eco Park, bringing you closer to nature.
Another week is here on the greatest of all time show. My name is Giovanni Clip, and tonight we're bringing you talent. Contestant number 1, let's bring Baby Girl. Let's bring. You did it for you.
Oh, there is a leakage.
Where's the plumber? For quality and durability, insist on Syntex pipes.
If you want quality, this be where you belong.
Strong, tough, and reliable. Your perfect match to your trusted Syntex pipe. Syntex pipe, it dey carry water, no wahala. Syntex pipe, it dey make water dey flow. Syntex, and you're strong, and you're tough.
It doesn't take much to make a difference. Sometimes it begins right where you live. Care is not always loud. It lives in the simple things we do when no one is watching.
Good conduct begins with you and I, right here in our neighborhood.
Good Conduct, Great Life is brought to you by
Indomie.
Tastes great.
More Kivo inside. Kivo Gari Soaking Mix, a taste of Ghana.
I didn't think it would happen to me, but it happened to me.
Ghana's digital economy is booming. Millions of billions of cities, a future powered by technology. But beneath the convenience lies a growing threat.
Now it's becoming more towards digital fraud.
If we place convenience excessively over security, we run the risk of breaking down the number one currency that we have in that ecosystem, and that is trust.
The Digital Economy Forum is a thought leadership series examining the opportunities, risks, and choices shaping Ghana's economic future. In our maiden edition, we tackle a critical issue, the trust crisis, why fraud is holding back Ghana's digital economy.
We need to have a 360-degree solution.
Join Head of FinTech and Innovation at the Bank of Ghana, Elhanano Rekuasare, Economics Professor Godfred Bokpin, CEO of Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewua, Executive Chairman of E-Crime Bureau, Dr. Albert Enchibuesiako, Chief Risk and Compliance Officer at Mobile Money FinTech Limited, Godwin Tamaklo, Deputy Director General in charge of Technical Operations at the Cybersecurity Authority, Stephen Kojo Seshi, and Head of Internal Affairs at Haptel, Ebenezer Bofo. The Digital Economy Forum, the Trust Crisis, why fraud is holding back Ghana's digital economy. Brought to you in partnership with Haptel. It's happening on Wednesday, July 22nd at 8 p.m. live on Joy News, Joy FM, and across our social media.
let's try and talk about what is happening in Ghana. Major is the Accra floods. I mean, is that a natural disaster? Is it man-made? What brought it about? How can we deal with the matter? I mean, when you're talking about these issues, one man in terms of land, whose name rings a bell in all corners of this country, has to be the man who has been put in charge of state lands, the man who's guarding state lands on behalf of the state. An individual. He's a businessman, he's a philanthropist, he is, I mean, there's a word I don't want to use, but we'll come to that, you know. And for him, this month, I am told, he will be graduating with a PhD in population studies. So a name when you hear, you will think that, oh, it's just about business or some other issues that you hear about in this country. But apparently he is also learning so hard and he's about to be awarded a PhD. I'm talking about none other than the man, Clemens Jato. Well, the name rings a bell, right? We have him here. Let's go straight into it with him. I hope you're well.
Yep.
Okay, before I get into my main matter, why are you a land guard? Are you a land guard or you are a land protectionist or what?
That term, I don't think, in its negative sense, then I'm not a land guard.
Okay.
Because land guard, we're talking about groups with arms that take land from legitimate people forcefully.
Yeah.
If that is it, then I'm not
a
land guard. But if you're talking about protecting state interest in lands, what the state acquired, pre-colonial, colonial administration, and current, what they've acquired for public use, if you say protecting it, then I'm guarding that land.
Interesting, okay. Now let's come back to our main issue, Accra floods. I mean, this happens regularly. Every year we are not spared about floods in Accra. Is it man-made? Is it a disaster? Or is it about, poor land governance that we have in Ghana? What is it?
Thank you. Everywhere in the world, there is no single country that has not had issues of flood. I mean, magnitude on a scale, some people have had death tolls that goes into thousands of casualties. So it is not new, and we are not spared as a country. So in a way, you can classify it as a natural disaster, but having some element of human effect or cause by human. So that, I mean, for me, that is how I'll put the two together. Yeah, and then we can elaborate on that one as we go on into the interview.
Okay, so let's look at what happened recently. Monday, serious flood. Now, as we speak, they are putting a death toll at 13. Several people impacted. What, from your experience, can you say is what has led us where we are today?
I want to be factual. My brother, for the past 10 years or 8 years, Accra itself hasn't got a designated place for dumping refuge. There is no dumping site in Accra created by the state, that the state intentionally create maybe a dumping site for refuse.
We have Pong.
No. Pong, you're looking at proximity.
Okay.
Pong has been stopped. Part of Pong was stopped somewhere in 2018 because the landowners were fighting over the land. So you still have portion of Pong that takes refuse. But are you going to dump refuse from Achimota, send refuse from Achimota to Pong? How are you going to do it? So I feel basic thing is where our refuse go when we create them. We are creating thousands of tons of refuse on a daily basis. Where does it go? That should be the basic question to this whole
had
thing.
his facilities, which were taking them, and we didn't have issues.
We didn't have issues when Zoom Lions was taking refuge. Is that right?
Yeah.
Are you saying when Zoom Lion was taking refuge, we didn't have floods?
We have floods, but not to this magnitude.
Then someone will argue that the rainfall pattern when Zoom Lion was taking refuge was not, the magnitude was not this much.
Okay.
I don't want us to go into the figures.
Okay.
It will not help us. And we are not blaming anybody. But all we are saying is that we have basic problems as local governors in our local governance system. We have basic problems. Number one, my brother, we don't have food markets. All our food finds their way into Kaneshi Market, Agbogboshi, or Makola. All our food items, which is wrong. A food market should be at the outskirts of the city. Then retailers can go and buy and bring and put on table for retail purposes. When I bring bananas or oranges to the center of Accra to sell, and I'm not able to sell all, and it gets rotten, do you think I will pay money for it to be thrown away again? So I'll leave it there or push it into gutter. That is what happens. That is why when you take the gradient, you go to the lowest part of Accra, it's always choked with refuse. So food markets, I think, should be created. Food markets and dumping sites should be created at Kaswa, Weja. You come to Amasama, Pokwase, Sawam. So we already have 5. Okay. We come to Malam, we should have 1 there.
Okay.
Going to the eastern part of Malam, we should have 1 there. And then you come to I've already mentioned the Kumasi Road, Pokwase, Sawam,
yes, and
Amasama. And then when you come to Ebri Road, we should have 1.
Okay.
And then going to Dodowa, Oyibi, Ayimensa, we should have 3 on that stretch.
Okay.
Then Afienya, we can have 1 there or 2. Then Dowenya, 2 or 3, because we are adding Tema, Ashama. Ashama produces a lot of garbage. So Ashama and its environs. So we should have 3 on Dowenya, Afienya Road. Then we can also add the food markets when we are doing a scheme for these refuse dumping sites. They can have food markets. So the cattle, we are selling cattle. We don't need to bring the cattle to Accra to sell. You can sell them outskirts. People are rearing cattle in Accra. And the cow dung is as thick as plastic. It can hold water.
Okay.
So you're having what we call the animal ranches in the center of the city. People are operating ranches in the center of the city. Where does the cow dung go? When it rains, it will choke gutters.
Yeah.
And the refuse we are collecting, these tricycle operators, Aboboya, when they carry the refuse, where do they take it to? How is the assembly connected with them? What contract do they have? Do they have a dumping site? Is the assembly making sure when the refuse is carried from their municipality is taken to the dumping site? I think all these things should be followed up so that we have there's some consistency in refuse management. I think that is one aspect. So the food market, creation of food market, because they choke our gutters. Creation of dumping sites, very, very crucial for a cleaner city. If we really want Accra to be clean, when I hear people talking about the capital city must be clean, I mean, how are you going to clean it when you don't have a refuse dump?
But do we have lands for that?
There are lands.
Really?
I've told you time and again that the entire Greater Accra government owns over 70% of the land. the state. So there are dumping.
So there are lands at the places you mentioned?
There are lands at all the places I've mentioned. That are state lands that we can use for these dumping sites and food markets.
But the way the population is growing and we need lands for people to live, you think that these sites you're talking about, these lands you're talking about, are still suitable for us to turn them into dumping sites?
Dumping sites, I don't know how you're looking at it. Don't go to the traditional dumping site.
Yes, I'm not.
We might not even go into recycling to say, but we can go into separation of refuse.
Okay.
We cannot do that in our homes for now. Reality, we cannot have 4 dustbins at home where you put plastic bottles and organic waste. We cannot have that. Government isn't clothed with that liquid. The government hasn't got that liquid to go into providing dustbins, about 4 dustbins for one home. If you calculate it, it's not going to be a small money. So you can put all the refuse in one dustbin, but when it gets to the dumping site, there should be workers that will do the separation. When separation is done, you can have cottage industries at the dumping site to recycle bottles and what have you into other useful or usable items.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now let's talk about still land matter. We know that the state has some specialized places that they've conserved or preserved for, like Ramsar sites. We have one in Sakumono and other places. But over the years, you see some encroachment. Why are governments, past, present, not able to, protect these lands and ensure that people do not encroach?
All right. So, I think...
Because if you look at the flooding we have,
yes,
it's because people are building in areas where they should not be building.
Exactly. I think Ramses are natural phenomenon. They were created naturally. Those, number one, are natural water catchment areas before they drip into the sea. So you have Ramses, you have lagoons. In Ramses and lagoons, there are special species of plants that can even hold dirt so that water will be stored there and then it drips into the sea. Unfortunately, like you said, most of our Ramses and lagoons have been filled and have built on. Over the years, I would say political inexperience has caused these water bodies being filled and built on. We are not politically that positive towards these things. I think when I say politically positive, we tend to allow our people who encroach on Ramses to do it because probably he's an assemblyman, a minister, or a party chairman, or a party man. So, okay, and this is very bad. That is what, so most of our Ramses have estates that are owned by politicians. I mean, how can that happen elsewhere? Meanwhile, they are protected by international convention. So why should we allow Ramses to be taken over by real estate developers, making profit, whilst others lose? Motorway had never gotten flooded before, but in 2019, it happened. You remember? 4 people died on the motorway. I still have my videos on that particular incident. And I can tell you, somebody had filled the storm drain and had built on it in Ajeringano and Boteman area. That's what caused the motorway flooding in 2019. So I had to go and pull down the buildings and dredge the storm drain.
You did
for water
that?
to go. I did that.
The 2 buildings?
7 buildings.
You took them out?
I took them out. Somebody must do the dirty work. I took them out.
Wow.
Yes.
Interesting. So you're saying that the discussion people do have about people building waterways, the only solution is pulling the buildings down, or there are other ways we can
waterways are also state land. All waterways are state land and must be kept untouched. Now, recently, look at what happened. The first rains, and then all the MMDA started demolishing. But the mistake they made at that point, they demolished and left the debris in the waterway. So more rains came, and then we have more flooding. Now, if we desilt our gutters, where do we throw the rubbish? We leave them by the gutters. Have you ever seen any truck taking the silted gutter waste to any place? We leave them by the drainage. And so when it rains, it goes back into the drain. So let's not pamper ourselves. This will continue forever until the right thing is done.
Okay.
We cannot do the same thing all the time and expect different results. That is impossible.
But I mean, wetlands, when it comes to flooding in Accra, how do they really protect Accra from getting flooded?
Okay, wetlands, they are wet because they have large deposit of clay. And then the plant species there help to hold a lot of water. So wetlands are very good catchment area for excess water. Okay. Now, when they are filled, the water tends to get stored uphill instead of getting into the downhill catchment area. And so, if you fill, then water will not find its way into the Ramsar or the wetland. So it will take over your structures. This is what is happening. Now, plastic waste. Those days, you remember when you go into the lagoons, that's where environmental workers go to pick refuse and other things, just to clean it up, because they hold a lot of refuse. Today we don't have lagoons, we don't have Ramses. So when you go to our beachfront, all the refuse now is seen there. Very bad. So I think they are very, very important in actually preventing flood or flooding in Accra.
But if that's the case, and as you have explained, the people who are in charge of our local assemblies know this, the relevance of wetlands. Why have they watched on for people to fill them, build, and no one is held responsible?
Thank you. So I've said it time and again that the assemblies are doing nothing. I'll say it here emphatically. I live in assembly here in Medina. I'm in Medina and Adenta. If you take Adenta, this year you see that at least there's some work being done. When you go, the MC is trying to make sure people don't build haphazardly. You build according to the plan. Unfortunately for all assemblies in Accra, they don't have a scheme for development.
Not even one?
Not even one.
Not even greater, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly.
Places that have got scheme are the traditional areas like Osu, Cantonment, Laboni, Ridge. You understand? Some parts of Achimota. Aside that, all the other buildings we see, development goes there before
the schemes come.
Government comes to do road, electricity, water lines, and what have you, which is wrong. I mean, that shouldn't happen. But our law stipulates clearly that a place must be schemed before you even go for building permit. Otherwise, if your structure is not located or your site plan is not located within a scheme, you cannot be given building permit. Unfortunately, the assemblies look on for people to build before they go to them that you must have a building permit. Meanwhile, the building has already been cited.
But is that not because of the land tenure system we have in Ghana, where families own lands and so they can decide to do whatever? I'm sure even the Ramsar belongs to a family, and so the family decides that they want to sell it. Is that not the crux of the issue here?
Our land tenure system has actually nothing to do with planning. A chief cannot sell land to an individual when the land is not schemed.
Okay.
Land Act 2020 spells it out clearly.
So that's the land tenure is not?
It's not.
So what is it then?
It is the planning authorities. LUSPA is there. So if a chief wants to sell his piece of land, he must first invite the planning authorities to scheme up the place. Know where drains will pass, know where electrical lines, water lines, and everything before the chief can sell. So chief selling land unscrupulously without recourse to LUSPA or the planning authorities is illegal.
Okay.
So I am saying it comes back to the state. Let's not blame individuals. If you leave individuals, they always do the illegal stuff. But there should be what? Enforcement of the law.
Okay. So you are proposing enforcement. Will that be the only recommendation, or there are others you can recommend to bring about integrity in land administration in Ghana? Is it just about making the laws work?
Yes, I think recently there has been a review of policy when it comes to lands. And the lands ministry has actually handed over that review to the President of the Republic.
Okay.
And I think that review is very, very important.
Okay.
Land administration, I think the structures are there. If you have lands commission, the assembly is clothed with so much authority to deal with miscreants. But are they actually doing the right thing? Assembly has environmental department there. They have, so the sanitation is there, health workers are there, LUSPA is there. Every assembly has officers from all these departments of our development when it comes to development. I'm asking, why are we still having deficit when it comes to managing land for residential or commercial purposes? Why are we still having that problem? Mind you, our mechanics, in fact, in Ghana, I don't think there's any mechanic that has got his own place. Every mechanic is either doing something by the roadside. The carpenters, they are doing something by the roadside. But
recently, some have been buying their places anyway.
Recently?
Yeah.
But a few.
Yeah,
not a few. The foreigners are doing well. The foreigners who are taking over the mechanic shop, which they shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Foreigners are building mechanic shops. And indigenes don't have shops that they can call theirs. The percentage is very, very percentage of mechanics. I don't think we have 1% that have their own place. It's difficult to come by that number. Okay, so I think they also produce waste. The auto waste is so much, and they can block waterways. Auto waste is a big problem in this country. There is no auto waste dump. There should be a graveyard for vehicles that are no more roadworthy. There should be a graveyard for them, where they can be smelted or used for some other stuff. There is none. So the mechanic shops have become mortuary for cars, for unmovable vehicles, which is bad. Now, the waste from vehicles, like you go and change your oil, you change the filters, those filters can block water from moving. And all these things have to be looked at by the assembly. So if we have an auto auto mechanic hub, then they must also create their own waste disposal system, which we don't have. The problem is so complex, but I think with goodwill from the assemblies, when they say they will do it, I think it's easy. First, let's start with dumping sites.
Okay. So we're going to think about dumping sites, and of course I'm sure you agree with the president that we should break down buildings. From what you're saying, we should break down buildings on waterways in protected lands.
You know, I think the president is right. Break down buildings on waterways.
Yeah.
But it should be defined.
Okay.
So that we should be cautious, so people don't use this to witch hunt other people.
Okay.
Yeah. We have, I don't know how big waterways can be. They are specified. I'm saying, when did you see Ghana Water dredging, how do you call it, Wager? They don't do it. And the canal that leads into the sea, they don't do it. I've never seen Ghana Water dredging that tunnel or canal. They don't do it. And so it rains, there's retention of water. Because filth has built up near towards the sea. The gradient is now coming back.
Okay.
So, I mean, Ghana Water is not doing its work when it comes to Wager area. So much work to be done there. Wager has a lot of hills and what have you. They don't do the work. Okay. When it comes to the south, you have a lot of slums that will never pay for refuse dumping. People living in slums and what have you. How can you go to the person to pay for refuse to be thrown away when there's gutter? Don't throw it into the gutter.
So what
he lives near the sea. How will you ask him to build toilet? He goes to the beachfront to ease himself. And they go to the beachfront to throw the rubbish there.
What must we do?
Go to all our beachfronts in the morning. People line up to defecate. People line up to throw rubbish into the sea. This is what is happening. People line up at lagoons to throw rubbish into the lagoons. Go to River Densu that supplies water for Wager. Just by it, there's a refuse dump. How can that happen? What are we drinking? So there's a problem. And I think the president should start punishing his officials. I think that's because officials cannot say you are an MCE or Minister for Environment or what have you, and then that is why you're there. The president didn't go around checking where people dump refuse. No, it is not the president's work. I feel we are bombarding the president with too many responsibilities.
Okay.
Meanwhile, he has officers.
Yeah.
He has appointed people to do the needful. Let me tell you, my work. There is nowhere on my land you can dump refuse. This is a 600-acre land, and I'm here. In years past, it was a refuse dump and a place for dead bodies and what have you. Today, you can't bring Bola here. Even those who go to toilet, when they are coming, they are scared. There's that discipline. Are you saying if I can do it as an individual, the whole state cannot do it? Because I'm not looking into your face. There'll be no favoritism. You can't come here and fool around. If you go to Pokwasi, same. If you go to Amranya, same. Tuba, same. Everywhere that I've reclaimed land and I'm protecting, you can't fool around.
So this is government land?
This is government land. It's state land.
Okay.
It's state land.
So it can be done?
It can be done.
But one other matter that we need to look at is climate change. It's real. And experts say it's going to increase the intensity of rainfall.
We know that probably they are not enough, or the sizes are not the best. We know that probably the engineering for these drainages to carry the water into the sea, ever since independence, where water enters the
All right, so that's the interaction with Clemens Jato there. Very, very interesting conversation there. Full will be on our social media platforms. But this has been the AM show. You know what? Tomorrow dawn at 1 a.m., the Black Stars of Ghana will be facing Colombia. Yeah? Okay, so all of us are supporting the Black Stars. We're cheering them up for them to get into the round of 16. So we say, like Kenata said, and the sports team is getting ready to bring you the World Cup daily. Let's say, Yacha Jama, Obi Obabanobed and Obejin Samia. So today, or tomorrow dawn, the Colombia guys will come and meet their Samia, Obabeji, because he hit, charge, and the Black Stars are doing something wonderful at this World Cup. So everybody, let's support the Black Stars to win, and we know with our support, with our prayers, they will win. And that's how we say in my language, the Hanta language, you say, in Colombia I'm the way support me. You make sure you support me. Black Star see you winning. That's what it is. Good morning.
Yeah,